A few of them back home in San Diego are like, damn, Julz, like, yo, you're the OG, man. You've been doing this for a long time. And I was like, oh, word. At first I was like, okay, cool, whatever. You know, they're being respectful. But then as I kept on seeing them out, they're like, yo, that's crazy. You're still doing this. And I'm like,
Hey guys, welcome back to Guys That Listen. I'm Mario.
And I'm Peter.
And I'm Adrian.
And we're
Guys That Listen.
On today's episode, we have, you might know him from Hickeys and Dry Humps, Suit and Tie Group, or Blends, San Diego's most infamous, Julz Dela Pena.
Woo! Let's go.
what's up? What up? Thanks for having me in my old neck of the woods. My temporary neck of the woods.
In the ghetto?
No. Orange County.
All right, Julz, tell us a little about yourself.
I'm old. Yeah, I'm old.
Peter.
Yeah.
Whoa, chill.
No, I'm just a regular dude, grew up in a Filipino household.
Yeah.
From San Diego, born and raised. I still live there. But I'm working up here like a few days out of the week. Just like we were just talking a few minutes ago before we started rolling, but typical Filipino DJ.
Can you sing?
Sneakers. You know what? It depends how much tequila I drink.
Okay. That's my answer
Then
too.
I can sing. So actually on Sunday Saturday when I was in San Jose, I was closing out and it was last Sunday I was in San Jose. I had like Tevin Campbell, of course, Can We Talk queued up.
Of course.
And I was like, I was playing with Miles Medina, and
Shout
then
out Miles.
I was like, hey dude, this is gonna be the last song, but I'm just gonna run the acapella and I'm gonna sing it. And then I was just like, yeah, so we can all sing, and it was a day party, so everyone felt good. Right before I played the song, like I was literally about to play the song, right behind us a fight breaks out.
Oh, damn.
So I was like, yeah. But yeah, like
It's a Filipino party.
it's a Filipino party, yeah. I mean, depending how much I drink. Actually, you know what? If I'm sober, I'll probably still just start singing.
Yeah.
I know I can't sing for shit, but I don't fucking care.
Did you pursue DJing like right, when you heard about it, or did you pursue a career in nursing?
No, it's funny.
That's racist.
I mean, actually, I was about to do another, typical Filipino route. So like, growing up, I honestly didn't know shit. Had no idea what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Of course, because I grew up skateboarding. I knew of DJing because one of my best friends I skate with, his older brother was a DJ. So when we used to skate in front of the house, like his older brother's homies would come over and just like, scratch and shit. Like, and this is like late 90s. So I was like 12, 13 years old. So I was like, okay, that's DJing. That's fucking cool. I can't do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my dad was a DJ.
What?
Oh, shit.
Technically, my dad's still a DJ because he'll still do like family parties here and there and shit. But my dad, because my parents are ballroom dancers. So my dad would DJ these parties that like him and his friends would like throw. It's basically like what we do now, except they do it for like ballroom dancing. So after like I would be skating like with the homies, like we would go inside the house, and my best friend that I would skate with, he knew how to DJ. So I would just watch him, and then he taught me like, yo, try this. And I was like, oh shit, this is kind of fun. I was like, the music I like skating to is the music that they're playing. It's like super backpack hip hop.
Yeah, you're like, it's not just ballroom music.
Yeah, it's not just like that. Not like what my parents are playing. But it's funny, it's like all the songs my dad was playing, like I knew of that shit.
What is ballroom music?
Ballroom music is like, it's different types of music. Or I should say dances. So there's salsa, there's merengue, there's country, there's two-step.
Todo.
Yeah, todo. There's like all kinds of genres when it comes to ballroom dance. Ballroom dancing is pretty much like another word for clubbing, I would say.
So you're saying it just runs in your blood,
Yeah, so, I kind of got wind of it like really early on. And I will be completely honest, I don't think I've ever said this to anyone or anywhere, but I actually was not into hip hop
Oh.
When I first, because growing up when I was a kid, there was a radio station in San Diego called Kixie, and they would only play like soft rock, love songs, and love ballads. So growing up, I only knew the words to like the Beatles, Michael Bolton, you know, Toto or fucking Chicago.
Yeah.
And then like I would hear hip hop because my friends would play it, but I wasn't really into it until DJing came along.
Wow.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That
So
sounds
like up
Coast
until like
103.5.
13 years old, I didn't really care too much about hip hop.
That's gonna be our blurb. Filipino doesn't care about hip hop. That's the
No,
that's the tag.
That's interesting though, because like when I started skating, hip hop was definitely one of the genres because I always watched like the skate videos.
Yeah.
And you know, you would have. That's why I got most of my music was from the skate videos because I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, they're playing this during their pro part.
yeah.
This is cool. You know, at the very end they would have the credits and they would have the songs.
Yeah,
I would
you
look
press
it up.
pause.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
oh shit, you know, it's fucking Mos Def or some shit. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So you went from skateboarding to DJing. How old were you when you started like DJing?
Like messing around with like turntables, and also I learned to scratch before I
I
can
was
mix.
gonna ask you, did
What?
vinyls, right?
Because
Really?
in the late, you know, in the 90s, early 2000s, that's when turntablism was like battle DJs was like super like popping. While we would watch skate videos, we were also watching DJ battle videos.
What?
So that's how I got more into it. I was like, oh shit, this is like really competitive, but it's also like really creative. And you know, as when you skate, everyone develops their own style. So like it kind of resonated with me. I was like, oh, this is like kind of the same. Like you have to have a rhythm to skating, just like you got to have a rhythm with DJing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 13, 14 years old, but I didn't really get serious until probably 16 when I was a junior in high school. I was like, you know what? I was like, man, I want my own DJ equipment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and fortunately, I will say this, I was fucking spoiled. I'm still kind of spoiled. Like, since my dad was a DJ, when I asked, I was like, hey, Dad, I want my own turntables. I want my own mixer. Like, I don't want to always have to go to his house.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right. So we go to the DJ store. It was called, actually, the DJ store.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was owned. It used to be owned by one of my homies. Well, I became friends with him, but it was my dad's friend too. And yeah, we went there. My dad's like, okay, what do you want? And I was like, oh, I want that. And it was two Techniques, a Rain 52, and Shure needles. And then he's like, okay. He's like, okay,
Wow.
let's go ask your mom. And I was like, oh, fuck.
How much was that back then?
Back then, dude, it was like, I want to say 1,500.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot for
For a
even
kid?
now.
Yeah.
That's a lot
Because
for
it
even now.
was what, two 12s and then a rain mix. Yeah, it was roughly around there. So I remember we were at this store for hours and I was begging my mom and she tried to negotiate with my homie and I was like, fuck, this is embarrassing.
That's so Filipino.
Yeah, super Filipino.
Wait, was he a Filipino guy too?
Yeah. So it's like he knew.
Yeah, you knew what was up.
So,
You knew what
but,
was up.
you know, after a couple hours, you know, we walked out of there and I fucking
Yeah, it sounds like you're buying a car. It sounds like you got a
Yeah.
car dealership.
Yeah,
real.
pretty much. That's DJ equipment. I mean, obviously now it's way more expensive. So I'm super glad I didn't have to deal with that.
You taught me like a Filipino word once. It was like mahal or something.
Mahal. Mahal means love, but it
Love.
also means expensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was. That's
Yeah.
the first word I thought of, and I'm like, does this make sense?
Yeah.
I mean,
you
in-
sounded very Filipino.
I don't speak Tagalog, but it's like there's, you know, words that have multiple meanings.
That's the joke, because love is expensive.
You said you had to develop like your own style in the same way you did with skating. How would you describe your style now as a DJ?
Lazy.
Oh.
Lazy DJ.
I'm just kidding. No, it's really hard to say like what kind of stuff. I like to quick mix. I learned how to quick mix because I would watch older like DJs do it, like my homies. And
Can you explain what that is for the people who don't know?
so quick mixing is basically getting in and out of songs right away.
I hope you don't treat your relationships the same way.
No. I've
I don't know
been
about the quickies.
no, I've been with my girlfriend for 4 years, so we're
Nice,
great.
nice.
And she DJs too, so
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
sick.
we met through DJing,
Oh, that's
so it's
dope.
great.
Can't find love at the club.
Yeah, it's possible. Just hopefully that person's not holding an adios. Then
Oh.
that's a red flag.
Is that the red flag? Is that DJ red flag?
I was just like, it's funny because like at Hickey's, like every time I'm like just like walking through the party, you know, me, I like nowadays like I'm not social. I'm just like hiding in the back. I'm like in the office, but when I walk through the crowd and I just see like blue drinks, I just have dollar signs light up
You're like,
because the
damn.
bar makes money, and I'm just like, because you know, adioses are expensive now.
Like
Are they?
$16, right?
Yeah, it's like one of the most expensive
Shit.
drinks.
That's hilarious because that would be the budget drink back then.
Yeah, back then, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like crazy when I see that. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude.
$16.
Yeah.
And you know, nothing about audios is like, it's not like they're gonna have one. You know what I mean?
No.
Like these motherfuckers trying to get
Two
trashed.
or three or four. I'm not gonna lie, that was me when I was 21, so
Yeah,
I can't say
same.
shit.
Let's go, Peter.
I don't know if you could like use this against me now since I'm like legal, but back then I used to go to this place called like Banana Bay, and they would have like,
Oh,
what is it like?
Where's that at?
It's in
Rolling
Diamond
Heights.
Bar, Rolling Heights. area.
Okay.
It's
And it
the
was like a
top
Thai
one.
restaurant, and like back then they didn't give a fuck like who you were. They would just serve you drinks, right? And it was 2 for 1. So like as a young kid, if you're trying to get messed up, you go there and you just like buy 2 for 1 drinks. And Adios,
Wow.
like LA Wire, all those drinks were
Oh,
like
yeah.
on the menu.
How much was the adios at the time?
Shit, I think it was like $5 and you get 2.
It was
So
buy
you're
one,
just
buy one-
like-
it was buy one get one.
So you're
was
like
insane.
probably rolling up like, damn, I got $8.
Yeah.
I'm good tonight. Maybe I can tip the bartender too.
Yeah. I do remember when it became more of like an expensive drink though. Like I remember I went to because I always thought it was like a cheap drink. I went to some club in LA. I don't know if it exists anymore, but it's called Busby's. And I ordered Adios. I think it was like $13, and it definitely wasn't buy one get one free.
Yeah.
But then they like loaded that shit up, and I was like, God damn, it's still one of those drinks though, you know?
It'd be so funny if you were to like go to another club and order 2 adioses, and you're like, oh, your total's 26, and you're just like, what the fuck? Isn't it buy one get one free? And they're like, what?
Just your expectation of all.
You're like,
Adios.
isn't that the rule?
Back in my day.
Yeah, back in my day.
Because that was the happy hour drink. Like even if you went to a place like TGI Fridays.
Banana Bay and TGI.
It's just-
Yeah,
Banana
TGI
Bay.
Fridays, like any of those like happy hour places.
TGI
would have-
Fridays is trash. It is my most hated
Trash or
restaurant.
trashy?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's pretty bad.
It's so bad.
There's only one good thing at TJ Fridays.
Oh, the
Was
food,
it?
yeah.
Was it?
Potato skins.
Oh yeah,
Really?
I heard.
I used to love like I forgot what steak it was, like the Jack Daniel's like flat iron or some shit like that. It was good. It was
Of course,
solid.
because that's Jack Daniels in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it really did, but the sauce was solid. And you know, eventually,
Jack Daniels.
You try to order, say like, "Hey, can I get the steak but the Jack Daniels on the side?" They're
yeah.
like, "What?"
With a shot of Jack Daniels. No, eventually I think you could tell they were going downhill when they did all you could eat appetizers.
Yeah, yeah.
Where you buy one
Oh
appetizer,
yeah, I remember that.
and then you get the same appetizer like refilled, right? Which is
Yeah,
crazy.
but you can't share.
Yeah, you can't share. But then they switched it to where you could get an appetizer and you can mix and match.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, this is
How
fucking
many
nuts.
times have you been to TGI Friday, Peter?
Dude, there used to be one down the street,
I
man.
know. I live by you. I know where it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's not business now, so you can tell business is not that great.
Now they're just Fridays.
Sorry.
No, for real. They
Wait,
don't.
really?
They're not
Really? They
branded as
rebranded?
That's
TGI.
the branding, right?
Yeah, I think it's just Fridays now.
Oh shit.
Nothing
Yeah.
to thank God for.
Yeah.
TGI.
Yeah.
That'll really do it. That'll up our business.
You know what, though? I feel like drinks in general.
Let's take out that listen part. It's just guys now.
Just guys.
Guys, that's
Yeah.
our new branding.
This definitely defines my style of DJing. It's all over the place.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. Yeah, we just keep it open.
I can get weird. I don't know. Yeah, like
Let's get weird.
yeah. No, I mean it's funny because like speaking of weird, like I'm doing this event in LA next week, and there's like 20 fucking DJs on the bill.
Oh, you know, I saw that. That was the one with 4-color, right?
Yeah. So like
Oh.
I was like, wow, things are gonna get real weird. He was like 5 to 10 minute sets, everyone. I was like, dude, I'm
Oh,
only
seriously?
How
yeah.
can you even switch all the
We're,
equipment out?
he told us everyone is on sticks. So it's like a quick,
plug-in.
yeah. So I was like, oh, cool. I could play one song.
Yeah. I saw
You can't even
the.
mix a song.
I was like,
One
I'm
of the
good.
comments was like BTB, BTB, BTB,
Yeah,
BTB,
yeah.
like a backstack, like the
What
entire
is
time.
the purpose? Of,
It's just for fun. It's
Oh,
just
it's
like
fun.
it's just like all the homies like getting together. That and Zach, 4-color Zach from Seattle, he just like put together this lineup of homies. Is like, fuck it, let's just have fun,
Damn,
just hang
yeah.
out.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, was it like 9 to 2? I was like, how the hell they could do
What?
like 20?
Yeah.
minutes in
It's
there?
pretty short too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
sounds
fun
like,
though.
It sounds like you're pretty much the first person on, and then the next person has to mix out of it, and then it just keeps going like
Yeah.
that.
But I mean, like I said about quick mixing, like
Yeah.
you could probably get. I mean, I'm not as, let's say, talented as some of those other guys on the lineup, but within 5 to 10 minutes, you could probably get off like 20 songs.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's
5
wild.
to 10 minutes, you need 20 songs.
Yeah, if you
Damn.
quick mix, yeah.
Have you ever done anything like that before?
Not to this extent. I've done like events where it's like, you know, there's multiple DJs on the lineup and everyone gets like 30-minute sets. It's a little much but you know, for this case or this particular event, it's basically just have fun. But when you're actually trying to operate like a traditional like club night or a party, it can be difficult because every fucking DJ wants to hit a home run. So, and someone's getting burned. Someone's like, well, fuck, can't play that.
Yeah.
Here goes my set.
Yeah. Yeah. And as the older DJ, I usually get thrown on last.
There's
Oh,
a
you know your
seniority
set time?
thing, or-
Oh, I don't know my set time, but there's been I did an event once. I won't say what event. But he the homie put me on last.
Wow.
And then I was like, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, you're gonna play 115 to 145. I was like, okay, whatever. And then he's like, you know, Kuya, you're like the OG, so you have way more music than all of us. I was like, what the fuck? And I was like,
Yeah, start with the
and so,
offensive stuff.
yeah. So I kind of felt offended,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, he's right. I was like,
Damn.
yeah, he's right. I was like,
He's like, you've lived longer. You
Yeah.
must have collected.
he's
a lot
like,
more.
you're an OG. I was like, all right.
He called you OG Kuya, bro. Like, that's kind of wild.
No, he didn't call me OG. He just called me Kuya.
Yeah. That's crazy. You know, you keep on saying, like, one of the descriptions, like, oh, I'm old or whatever. When did you start feeling that in the DJ world?
I would say post-pandemic, when things started opening back up, and there's a new rotation of younger DJs out, and a few of them back home in San Diego, like, damn, Julz, like, yo, you're the OG, man. You've been doing this for a long time. And I was like, oh, word. At first I was like, okay, cool, whatever. You know, they're being respectful. But then as I kept on seeing them out, they're like, yo, that's crazy. You're still doing this. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, the fuck?
You're like, I got it the first time, bro.
Yeah, I was like, all right, cool. But, you know, I get it, though, because, you know, this generation, I understand because I have DJs, young DJs who are just getting their legs up right now. So I understand there's also that social awkwardness. Like a lot of the younger generation, it's not just DJing, but just like a lot of younger generation, they don't really know how to put like a conversation together. So they'll just like say shit like, they're like, oh man, dude, you're old, you're still doing this. It's like,
Yeah.
they're not trying to be malicious
Yeah,
or
yeah.
disrespectful. It's like, but it comes off like, what?
Yeah, how should I take this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should be offended,
Yeah.
but I get it though. You know, times are different because it's hard nowadays to socially interact with someone you've never met or
Like right now.
yeah, like right now. But you know what? Okay, so I was telling this to one of my guys that works for me at Blends, and he's also part of Hickeys. I told him, I was like, hey, I actually learned everything by working at Blends.
Oh.
And not just DJing skills. I definitely didn't learn DJ skills selling shoes. But social skills. Like if you like I always say this. DJs who've worked in the customer service industry, preferably like food or retail, are really good at DJing.
That's interesting.
At DJing.
At DJing.
I see,
Because
okay.
it teaches you social skills
It's
that you wouldn't
your
have otherwise.
Yeah, like if
Reading
you're
the
gonna
room and all that.
reading the
Yeah.
room, reading body language, like all that shit, just like interact or just talking to people, because a lot of that translates over to DJing, or actually not even just DJing, just any skill set, any skill you're trying to learn. Because if you can't talk, if you have trouble talking to people, you're gonna have a hard time getting shit done.
No matter how good your technical skills may be on the ones and twos, you still got to be able to read the room. Cause
Yeah. You saw a giant mosquito over here too, yeah. I mean, dude, there's talent. I mean, we have this saying like when we were young. You're a great DJ, but no one knows who you are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bedroom DJs out there still to this day that are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But no one knows who they are.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, I get it. Like, if you feel uncomfortable, you know, you feel awkward, like, I don't know how to talk to people, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can't be those motherfuckers that are like, man, I'm better than them. I should be playing there. It's like, well, guess what, motherfucker? No one knows you. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to young up and coming DJs in order to develop those social skills?
Oh, same thing, you know, my OGs told me is just go out and listen to as many DJs as possible, whether you know them or you don't know them, whether they're a good DJ, whether they're a bad DJ. You learn from everything.
That's all. You heard it here first from the old OG.
Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
So
It's getting I shaved too, 'cause I look a lot older.
how did you guys come up with hickeys and dry humps? What's the origin of that?
So I actually didn't come up with hickeys and dry humps. So at the time, I was with another promoting group called Victory Nightlife in San Diego. We were actually like the San Diego counter to 21XL. So like Myron and like all those guys, like that's how I know those guys. So while I was on that promoting group as a DJ, do you guys remember that store in San Diego, 5 and a Dime? It was a streetwear store.
Yeah, sounds real.
So the owner of that is one of my best friends. Him and another friend of mine, Saul, they were like, this is like 2008, 2009. They were like, yo, we should do a party and play only 90s music. And
I love that.
all our content should just be 90s. Artwork, you know, decor, the drinks, everything. So they started that in 2010 at El Dorado, where you did some events. Yeah. The company I was with, we were already friends with them. Like, we've done events together. We were all friends. Victory ended around that time, and then I was like, these are like, I like to call them my dark years of DJing.
What?
Because I had nothing. I had no residencies. I got fired from a residency due to some drama. But I didn't come on board at Hickeys till like 2012. And it was still something really small. We started at this dive bar called El Dorado. Very small dive bar. And it was like cool, like a couple of homies would come through, but it wasn't like super popping or anything. So I came on board 2012 just to like hang out. I would fill in for if someone didn't want to DJ. They're like, oh, just play a set, bring your laptop. I was like, all right, cool. And then after a while, they were just like, dude, just be part of the squad and, you know, we'll just rotate. I was like, okay, cool. So I went from being like a filler DJ to now owning Hickeys and Dry Humps.
That's wow.
Because we turned into, over the years, you know, we turned ourselves, or we, S-Corp. Yeah.
You
Oh,
guys
wow.
are escorts?
Yeah.
No, S-Corp.
S-Corp. S-Corp.
Not
course,
the ones
Mario.
that you're thinking about, Mario.
What?
Yeah.
And that's how Hickeys and Dry
You was thinking about the other two.
So we're like an actual full-fledged business. Like,
I was like, wait, you guys DJ and escort? What is going on
no.
here?
No, I mean, I escort people out to club.
I got
Well, not me personally. The security guards do. Yeah, so it's like,
In
again.
business.
We also print T-shirts. That's actually real, too.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. That's
So that's actually what we did during COVID.
Oh.
We were like, fuck, we have no events. We can't do shit. What are we going to do with our money? And we're like, so we had a friend of ours who had a print shop, and his partner was leaving. So we're like, hey, let's buy into this, or let's invest in it. So we own 50%.
Oh, nice.
And still running to this day. So I learned a valuable lesson during COVID, and it's funny. I was listening to a couple of your guys' episodes prior to
sick.
coming on, especially driving up because I had an hour's worth. So I was like,
perfect day.
but you know, I know like a few of your guests have talked about like what they did during COVID, how to survive. You know, that was one thing we had to do. It's like, well, fuck, what's our next step? So once COVID ended, well, technically it's not over. But when the the shutdowns ended and everything opened back up, I was like, fuck this shit. I'm going guns blazing. I was like, because I was like, I'm gonna get whatever opportunity I can get, whatever comes my way, and for the team, I'm gonna make sure these guys, because Hickeys started off as 3 people, now we're like at 12 guys, and I was like, these guys need somewhere to showcase their love for DJing, and they're just good people. They're like my best friends.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. You know, and some of them are the socially awkward guys that don't know how to talk. So I do this. But yeah, that was one valuable lesson I learned during the shutdown was like, all this can be taken away like that.
Yeah.
The whole, goal was like, okay, how do I adapt? How do we move? How do we navigate through, okay, shit, you don't have this, but we have this. So it's like, have to be resourceful. So yeah, once everything was good, I was like, fuck that. I'm getting whatever I can.
Hell yeah.
Now you said that, since you never know when things are going to go away, you want to go into it guns blazing, right? What was the first step?
First step was like, okay, let's go back to our old home, which was El Camino in Little Italy. That's where our longest residency was. Fortunately, the owner, our friend, he sold it, and we're like, well, fuck. All right, cool. And he sold it to this guy who owns like a bunch of restaurants and bars in San Diego. And we approached him. We're like, hey, we'd love to come back, whatever your vision is. And he was like, no, I'm going to move in a different direction. And I was like, well, fuck. So we went back to El Dorado, where we first started. And it was a little rough. I will say, though, the very first time we announced, like, Hickeys and Dry Humps back, original home, El Dorado, I'm not even joking, like, at least 1,000 motherfuckers on the street.
Whoa,
yeah,
that's
and the capacity is only like 300.
Yeah, it's a
small.
spot.
Because, things are open. Everyone was excited. They're like, fuck, we want to go out. But after that night, it was kind of rocky. Yeah. Because, let's be honest, a lot of people after, things started opening back up, a lot of people were confused, like, wait, do I really want to go out? Or do I want to go here? Or, no, I'm not going out yet. So there were still some people, like, not willing to risk it, which I get and I respect. And that goes for venues, too. Even some venues and bars are like, they lost their identity. They're like, what the fuck are we now? Are we going to be a cocktail bar? Are we going to be a party venue? So that was like the first thing I did. And then after that, I was like, okay, what else can I get?
Yeah.
Because, pre-pandemic, we were only doing 3 venues tops. So I was like, all right, let's see if I can get another venue. So I would do like, hit up like other homies, like DJs, like, hey, where you at? Or did you get your shit back? And they're like, nah, what you got? And I was like, oh, fuck, everyone lost everything. I was like, you know what? Not to be selfish. I'm not being selfish at all, but it's like, we live in an age now where it's like resources are very limited and you got to take care of yourself first, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just reached out to other venues and I just see who needs DJs or who wants to bring in promoters. And we got lucky with Park and Rec because my girlfriend, she was a resident DJ there and still is a resident DJ at Park and Rec. And they're like, hey, you should bring Hickeys here. It's just like El Camino. It's big, it's outdoors. And we're like, all right. So they introduced me to Park and Rec, and rest is history.
Dang. So how was the first event?
Oh, at Park and Rec?
Yeah.
Oh, we brought Miles in to do.
Okay, you're like, all right, let's go in guns blazing.
Yeah, that's the guns blazing attitude. It's like, I'm like, hey, Miles, we have a new residency. He's like, okay.
So first event popped off.
Yeah, and now it's like, actually, so this past weekend I was in San Jose, but we had Hickeys, and they were like texting me like, "Yo, fire marshal came through again." I'm like, "Fuck!"
Oh wow.
But I guess that's a good thing because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like we have,
It's too poppin'.
yeah, like if you look up Park and Rec and you like look up Google images like during the day or on the street, you're like, "Oh, this is a nice little quiet neighborhood with like restaurants."
Yeah.
But at night when we're there, shit, looks like a house party.
Yeah. Yep, and usually fire marshals come when it's like capacity.
Overcapacity,
thing.
yeah.
You know, when it's like a fire hazard for people coming in and out. That's how you know.
Yeah, but it also kind of sucks. Like, fuck, we're on the radar now.
Yeah.
But I guess that's good. You know, there's a lot of like growing pains, I guess you could say, and that's one of them. That's one thing. Also, the venue needs to adapt to because they're not used to this type of traffic.
I mean, what can they do?
Well, they definitely adapted. They hired more staff, more bar backs, opened up more wells.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
and we worked together. Okay, so before we went to Park and Rec, let me backtrack. You know, I said we went back to El Dorado. Unfortunately, the management there, you know, I love the owner. He was a super cool guy, but the manager that he brought in, you ever get those feelings where it's like instead of working together, you're working against each other?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. It was a toxic partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah. When things were good, it was like, okay, cool. When things went bad, everything was our fault.
Yep. And that's the thing about working with venues is like the venue, they have a place, right?
Yeah.
And you're not the place. You bring in the crowd and the
Yeah.
people and you curate the night. But a lot of the times they feel like you're working for them. You know, and they own you, right? And because a lot of times they can pull the plug or whatever. That's why a lot of like event coordinators get burnt.
Yeah.
It's because you bring like the people, volume comes, and then they have some kind of consistency, and all of a sudden they think, "Oh, we did this. We actually don't even need you."
And they
Yeah.
drop
They'll
you.
try to replace you.
Yeah.
They copy your formula.
Yeah.
So it seems like, you know, you're very involved in the nightlife. You know, you get to see it all. And I always like to ask, like, what's some of the craziest stuff that you see going on? Like, you know, fights or people trying to, you know, spit game or just like
Hook up
the
in the
craziest
club.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, like, dude, I feel really bad about telling this story.
Say it.
Say
But, okay. I won't say any names because I actually don't know his name.
Let's say his name.
Holy shit! Oh damn!
Bro, that fool.
Oh, it's a June bug.
That's the clip that's going on the wheel. Yeah, that's it.
It's like that person who
Caption: Julz is a bitch. I know who I've seen him around.
Just say his name is Peter for now.
Okay, yeah, Peter. No,
Hey,
just-
yo, come on.
No, actually, okay. Here's a wild story. So like, and it's a very unfortunate story, but it's just wild. So like, it was at Hickeys and Dry Ups at Park and Rec. This was like last year, I believe. There was like all this commotion. I was like, dude, what the fuck is going on? And all I know is like my homie's like the security guard's like, yo, the cops are here. I was like, why the fuck are the cops are here? And then so the manager has to go out there and all this shit, talking to the cops. And there's this fucking girl. Sorry, I shouldn't say fucking girl. There's this woman. She was like going off and like screaming and all this shit. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then my boy was his security guard. I was like, yo, she's saying dude over there jerked off on her while on the dance floor. And I was like, what?
That's wild.
I was like, is that possible? And then like I felt
It's a
bad.
quick mix, you know?
Yeah, quick mix. Yeah. No, and I was like, look, I was outside and I was like looking. I was like, dude, that sucks. I was like, and he was like so confused. He's like, what is this girl talking about? He's like, I did not do that. So I'm like thinking,
What did the guy like look like? Did he look drunk?
no, he was standing up straight. He was cooperating with the police.
Wow.
He just like, I don't know, like maybe this girl just like stereotyped this dude because he was like a Asian dude, bald head, tattoos.
Do we?
Stupid.
I know him.
But yeah, like she was just going off, and then there was no proof, there was nothing, and then she was all like,
There's no jerk off.
Yeah, there was no, yeah. And then like, so one of my stupid ass friends like, get a black light. I'm like,
That's what I was thinking.
I was like, dude, shut up. But I was just like, that's like one crazy story. It's like, because I've never heard that. Like, usually you'll hear like, that guy grabbed me or, I touched me inappropriately. But then when you hear like, oh, he jerked off on me, I'm like, huh?
It's pretty specific.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, to all the listeners out there, like, I would not wish that upon anyone, but that was a wild story.
Was the song that was on, was it Get Low?
I have no idea.
You know, there's this part where it's like, skeet, skeet, skeet,
Yeah.
skeet, skeet.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of skeet, we Hickeys and Dry
Great
Humps,
transition.
when R&B parties were starting to like pop off, this was like 2018, I think. We wanted to do an R&B night, and we called it Between the Skeets.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
It didn't last long.
No, it didn't work.
Didn't work.
yeah.
Didn't work.
You come in there, all these guys jerking off.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So that's another thing, like with Hickeys, like with our, you know, our content and our branding and all that. We try to like push the boundaries.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about, okay, if you were to like go back on our Instagram, like way back and see our old flyers, bro. If we were to make shit like that now, we would definitely get canceled.
Really?
Like, we almost got canceled recently, actually.
What? For what?
So we
flyer?
used to do an event called Butts to Nuts.
Sir,
Yeah, you really just
How are
trying
you
to push
getting
this
away
out.
with this?
It's not the name that got us
Oh,
canceled.
really?
We, like I said, at heart still, like, I love like non-hip, like I love all kinds of music.
this is why dudes keep coming to jerk off at your events.
Yeah, no. My partner Jay, my business partner Jay, he has like a weird, like, he has weird creativity when it comes to like flyers or like artwork, whatever. Like something just sparks in his head and he's like, oh, I got an idea for a flyer. So one day or one event, you know, our usual residency, Butts and Nuts, he decided, like, he tells our graphic designer, he's like, hey, let's use this picture of Britney Spears with her head shaved off when she's like trying to bash
Oh, no.
the car. So we put it out, and I feel really bad about this. I sincerely apologize to this person too, by the way. Someone DM'd us and it's like, hey, you know, it's basically she was sticking up for, you know, people that, you know, that suffer from mental illness. And I get it too, because I've been there. We've all been there. But she was like basically explaining, like, she went through the same thing pretty much that Brittany went through at that time. And she's like, for you guys to put a flyer out there with this image and the event's called Butts to Nuts, she's like, is very inappropriate. And I thought about it. Normally, if I was like in my early 20s, I would have been like, yeah. But then, like, I'm older now, and you know, we've all had therapy sessions. We've all talked to one another about mental health, like you guys talked about in past episodes. So I was like, I was like, you know what? You're right. We fucked up. So I apologize, and then we changed the graphic to a picture of a Britney Spears dog.
What? That is a completely different direction.
It was basically a dog dressed up as Britney Spears for Halloween. It was a corgi dressed up as. So we were, but the thing is though, we were like, so the reason why my partner did is because this is around the time when Britney won that
the
case over her parents.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like my partner was just like, yo, dude, like, because he's a Britney fan. He's like, yo, let's celebrate this. I was like, we just chose the wrong image. So
Yeah.
we put
Timing.
the corgi, and everyone loves a corgi. That's one thing. Let's see. A security guard shot someone at.
Shot someone?
Yeah.
Like with a regular ass gun? Or?
Yeah, with a physical pistol.
firearm?
Yeah.
What the fuck are
That
you
was crazy, yeah.
Wait, where, in San Diego?
Yeah, San Diego. At,
Butts to Nuts?
no, at Hickeys and Dry Humps.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
this was at one of our old venues. I just remember, like at the end of the night, cops come in, we're like cleaning up, and cops were like, you guys stay put, no one's leaving. I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, I want to go to Humberto's and get my burrito. But like, no. So we had to stay. Police, like, I need a head count of everyone that's working, including you guys, the DJ. So we're like, okay. There's one security guard missing, and come to find out that security guard shot one of the customers coming to El Camino.
What?
He didn't die. He didn't die.
Wait,
why?
How did you guys not know that he shot someone?
He shot him outside
Wow.
the venue. He went to his car. So apparently
He went to his car?
yeah, so apparently the story was like, customer got really bold with a security guard. You know how that gets. We've all seen it
Yeah, of
at
course.
clubs and bars. So the guy goes inside, and so the security guard's like, all right. So end of the night, before everyone gets out, goes to his car, grabs his pistol, and when the dude comes out at the end of the night,
Wow.
taps one in his leg.
Oh.
Yeah.
What
Damn.
the fuck, dude?
Yeah. And then, but he bailed.
Yeah.
So that's when the cops were like, I need a list of everyone that was working tonight. And then they did like a roll call. They're like, okay, Julz, are you here? I'm like, yeah, present. And then when there was one person missing, they're like,
Yeah.
got him.
How'd you feel when you heard that someone got shot by a staff
Kind of
member?
unsafe. Like, we were like, dude, what the fuck? Because we were in Little Italy. That's where our venue was.
Yeah.
It's not in the gas lamp. It's Little Italy. If you've ever been to Little Italy in San Diego, it's a really nice area on the outskirts of downtown. It felt weird and felt kind of unsafe because it's like, fuck, now you got security guards like carrying, shooting fucking our customers or guests. And then when the news camera showed up, I was like, yep, time to go.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
because that shit's hard on, like, for anyone who doesn't know, that shit's really hard on events. Because if you get known for shit like that, your event usually dies.
And that's why I recommend, if you are a promotion company or an events company, make sure you have a lawyer, make sure you have insurance, like all those things you don't think about as like a DJ crew or a promoter. It's like, yo, you got to make sure you cover your asses.
Yeah, there was a day party that was out here, I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago, but one of the guys got like stabbed after he left the day party. It wasn't even still at the day party, but like outside of it, just by like another, like, I guess, customer.
Yeah.
And he died.
Oh.
And the family sued
The venue.
Yeah, the venue and the people who hosted it.
And the pro,
Yeah. So then that whole day party died, and it was like one of the most successful day parties.
What was
out here.
that?
It was like at a hotel. I forgot which hotel.
Here in Orange County?
No, see.
Yeah, so
I heard of
that's...
And the case was going for like, I think like 3 or 4 years. When I was talking to the guy who ran it, he was like, yeah, we're still in like litigation.
Yeah, you gotta cover your asses.
You guys gotta be careful. You guys got guys jerking off, guns going off. So,
Yeah, I
risky
mean,
business.
you know, I will say, as the years have gone on and I've gotten older, yeah, nightlife is a very dangerous industry to be in.
Extremely.
It's real. So like, and that's why like I hope like this younger generation actually acknowledges it and learns from it and actually like, dude, it's like nightlife is a pit bull. If you don't give that respect to the pit bull that it deserves, that shit will turn on you because
It'll bite you.
It'll bite you. It's a toxic industry.
Yeah. It's tough too because for our nights, we really like pride ourselves in the fact that we rarely ever get fights. And I think that comes from like, from the beginning of the venue, you see everyone who's involved, and we're super friendly. We're super nice. We make sure everyone feels like welcome and kind of know like, hey, you're coming here, you're going to see us around. You know, so like, let's have a good time and keep the good vibes going. But I know some places they treat it kind of like, oh, let's just flex, right? Let's just go in here and do bullshit. Let's just get drunk and let's get fucked up. And those nights usually always end up in fights.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Your branding is fucking key nowadays. That's why like if you look at our flyers, it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's like,
What are your flyers?
I mean, now it's okay. So for
We're
a
gonna
parking,
post them up right here during this conversation.
so for a parking rec, like now what we do is like we obviously reels get more traffic on your IG, right? So we just do like 90s movie clips, and it's in the background. And it's like transparent, and that's it. But before we, like I said, going back to like risky shit. Damn, is there another one?
You good.
Okay. It's like fuck, dude.
Skip it.
No, yeah. Before like. What's one flyer that I can't believe we got away with was around Valentine's Day weekend. One of our flyers was a picture of a Plan B. That Plan B was kind of up there.
Yeah.
Some people were like confused, like, is that a fucking like your medication? I was like, something like that.
So you being in this kind of risky business, in this nightlife, has that affected your dating life?
No, because fortunately my girlfriend, you know, she's part of this industry. She DJs too. She DJs at same venue I play at. So we understand like, you know, what the good and bad is. Fortunately, her company that she works for, and then for Hickey's, like, we're not all about like flexing like you're talking about. Like, we're not trying to be like that. We're just trying to have fun. Our flyers are fun. Our music is fun. Like, we don't promote any of that, like, obviously no one promotes violent shit on flyers, but like we don't portray that image like, oh, this is where ballers come. Like we don't even do bottle service at Park and Rec. Other venues where we do, yeah, we have bottle service, but even then we don't even promote like it's gonna be like that kind of
that
vibe. Yeah, because you know, one, we're all older too, so it's like that we have nothing to flex. Like I drive a fucking Prius. Like what do I have to flex? I guess you could say Prius is a flex, right?
It is a flex. The new ones are sick.
Oh, dude, I want the new ones.
The new ones are sick.
The new ones are so sick. But yeah, I don't think it's affected our relationship. It is kind of tough because there are times where it's like I have to go out and work, and she was like, "Do you really have to go?" You know, like she's like, "You own the company. You could just have someone else DJ." But I've had to like have those talks. It's like, well, I'm the face of the company. Like, I need to be there.
I
like,
need to be there more than anybody else.
Yeah, I need to make sure everything's good. Like, I don't just like party. Like, I'm in again. When I say I'm in the back in the office, I'm talking with the manager. We're like going over like, oh, this side's a little slow, or hey, there's a couple like sus people, or like, we watch everything. That I'm very observant when I'm at these events. Like, if you see me now compared to 10 years ago, I'm completely different.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Back then, or even in the early 2000s, I used to fucking DJ shirtless because I'd be so wasted. Yeah. Yeah.
You got clips?
I don't know. I gotta find it. Yeah.
Somebody's got clips.
Somebody's got clips.
Let's go to one of these hickeys and dry humps and get them really drunk.
No, because I'll just hide. I'll just hide. But now, no, that's the old me. That's just part of growing up. But like now, when I'm like walking around, these events, I'm literally doing rounds. I like walk in circles, and then I'll chill in the office for a bit. And then I'll go back out and do some rounds, make sure my guys are good, make sure the bartender's like, hey, anyone giving you problems? Yeah. Because if things go bad, that fucks with everyone's money. And I definitely don't want my money to be fucked with because that means my DJs are gonna, they're gonna feel it too. So, that's pretty much what I had to have that conversation with my girlfriend. It's like, it's more than just a party. This is a business. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like being at Blends. Like, I got to make sure everything is okay. I'm kind of a control freak, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's like I always feel like I have to do it. And that's actually one of my flaws is like I have to learn to let go.
Same here, man. It's the micromanaging part, and because that you do it better than anybody else do it. So letting go of that control, like, okay, let me assign you to this task, let me assign you to the responsibility, and then you do it kind of right and stuff. And I'm like, man, I could have done that faster, I could have done that better.
But they gotta learn.
Yeah.
And I had so pre-pandemic, Hickeys was 4 guys. After the pandemic, it's like fucking 10, 12 of us. And I trust these guys with my life, but I also have to learn like, okay, I got to trust these guys can take care of the night or the event if I'm not there, which they have. And it's kind of funny because it's actually kind of true, but for some reason, every time I'm not present, bar sales are fucking amazing. Really? And then like there's like this joke now that they have like at the venue. They're like, yeah, Julz, you should leave more often.
Go on vacation, bro.
And I'm like, fuck you, dude.
I want to be here.
They're like, yeah, because you look like an asshole when you're walking around. I'm like, no, I don't.
Is that what they think? Like, for real?
Nah. No, but because I don't drink as much anymore. I kind of took a step back from drinking. I'll drink, but if I'm working, I hardly drink.
I feel you.
Plus, also, like, DUIs are not cheap.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And I've seen a lot of friends get DUIs. It's very unfortunate.
Yep, don't drink and drive, folks.
Yeah, actually, just recently, last month, we were leaving a gig, and we were going to a diner that was open 24 hours. And I'm like driving, and I'm like, oh shit, there's an accident. I should fucking drive around. As soon as I drive around the car that hit everyone, the front the car in front was my homie that DJed with me.
Oh no.
Thank God he's okay.
Yeah.
Both of them that were in the car are okay, but you know, again, that's just one because the driver was drunk.
Yeah, that's brutal. We just had a event like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then like one of our friends' cousins came, and she's younger. I think she was like 22 or something like that. We found out the next day she got DUA. I'm like, fuck, that's brutal, especially when you're so young.
Yeah.
See, because the common argument of why they don't Uber is, especially when they're young, they're like, oh, it just costs too much.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, it's way more when you get DUI.
Well, also
though.
she's a girl, right? So I
Yeah.
think it's a little different for women. They sometimes feel unsafe just taking an Uber home.
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to be drunk and maybe they're alone. I mean, at the end of the day, you're probably going to be dropped off alone too. So I think safety is more important for women. But I mean, but they were talking about driving yourself.
Yeah,
So.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
unfortunately, we live in a time now where it's like there's consequences no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what you choose, even if it's the right choice, there's still a consequence.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm drinking, but I'm gonna Uber. Oh fuck, it's like $80
Yeah.
because it's surge pricing. That's your
That's true.
consequence. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just not drink.
Yeah. Or not gotten that drunk.
Whoa, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Stupid.
Have you? You know, it's funny. A lot of guys like, damn, I'm so fucked up. Like, oh, I got a bad hangover. Like, damn. And then I'm like, you know how you could have prevented that? You could have not fucking drank.
Literally me.
Yeah, he posts like every week on his
Every
story.
week.
Weekend, I'm like,
That was the last time.
I can't say shit because
No more
I was hungover this weekend. So
I wasn't. So
every time I go to San Jose, I'm always hungover.
Oh, really? Why is that?
'Cause San Jose is different.
did you
Dude.
say you stopped drinking?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I just
Rewind and say
no.
it.
Okay,
I
I just
said
don't.
it.
I don't drink as much as like I used to. Yeah. But when I DJ in San Jose and it's like, or I'm out there with friends, it's like
Yeah.
It's a different OG.
it's a different. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
you shirt off
always-
over there?
No, I don't. I keep my clothes on. I keep my clothes on everywhere, even in the shower. I keep my clothes.
Yeah, take it to the other extreme
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I wear a wetsuit when I shower. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Yeah, I don't drink as much as I used. But if I'm like,
Me too.
yeah, see, good answer.
It's been like 5 days.
That's been a whole week.
See, that's the thing though. It's a little different when you run an event though. You know, like I'm always like,
There's no excuses for being an alcoholic, Peter.
no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when people come to the events and you run an event and part of your income is from bar sales, you suggesting people to like, yeah, maybe take it easy is actually, you know, your bottom line is affected by that, right? So it's like a weird feeling when you know the bar is slow. When you look at the bar slow, you're like, fuck, I might be owing money on this one. You know, it's
Yeah.
a weird feeling. Because for me, I don't want people to get like super fucked up, you know, but at the same time, like, it is a bar event.
It's a
you know what I
business.
mean? It's a business. That's how you pay your bills, you know? So I feel a little conflicted sometimes. But I definitely don't want people to get like fucked up or where I'm like they'll get kicked out or in a fight. That's like the last thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, you get buzz on, like that's fine. You know what I mean? You don't have to be sober. But if you do come and that's like your thing to be sober, I'm super okay with that too. Where people come, they don't drink. Like my events are always like, even if you don't drink, you come out and enjoy the music. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sober ones, you should be like, you should buy everybody else drinks.
Or be the DD. That usually
There you
works
go.
out really well.
Or give me a burrito, bitch. Just kidding.
Dude.
Another reason why I don't drink too much when it's like a Hickeys event is because if shit gets real and I'm fucking wasted,
Oh yeah.
like, and the manager's like, yo,
Yeah.
like, shit just got real. Like, cops are here. Like they're
Someone's jerking off.
Yes. No. Should have never told that story.
Jules, what did you do?
I'm like, I don't know. Go get
everywhere.
I don't know. Get some paper towels. Fuck.
Get a black light.
I don't know. Fuck. Just take a shower. I don't know. Yeah, but that's like one other, you know, because it's like you gotta be like at top of your game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
can't
like-
go out slurring.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen like, you know, it's happened here and there. I'm not gonna lie, but when I had a real shit talk with my business partner, he was just like, "Yo, Jules," he's like, "Yo, you've been getting way too fucked up. Like it's affecting your DJing. Like you suck." Yeah, I was just super sloppy, and we all know DJs. it's probably one of the only professions you can actually get fucking annihilated, but also it can ruin your career.
Yeah.
I know a lot of DJs now, my age or older, a lot of them are sober. And one guy I looked up to, I don't really know him personally, but I've met him a few times, is Vice. Yeah, he tells his story like
He's sober?
he's sober, yeah.
Oh, shit.
But he used to be known as like the guy that fucking rages.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of DJs who took the same path. They're like, you know what? We're getting older. Obviously, DJs don't have health insurance they have to get their own.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you have to start looking at the decisions you have to make. Like, okay, what is the wiser decision in the
Yeah.
long run? In your 20s, I always say, actually, I only have one DJ now that's in his 20s. Everyone else in Hickeys, they're all older. They're all in their 30s, early 40s. But the one I always tell him is like, dude, your 20s, go ahead and fuck up.
Yeah.
Make dumb mistakes.
Get a DUI.
No, not that.
Oh, okay.
Not that.
Not that far.
But it's actually like he doesn't even really drink too, which is good, and I'm proud of him. But it's like I always say, like, you know, in your 20s you got to figure out shit. Not figure out your life, just figure shit out.
Yeah.
You're gonna get rejected. You're gonna suck at whatever you do. I mean, there's a few prodigies out there that just get it, but
Yeah.
you know, that was with me. Like my 20s, I thought I was hot shit. I was like, yeah, I'm DJing everywhere. I'm making good money. Until I had to start paying rent, pay bills, pay credit card, insurance, shit like that. And so my 30s, I was like, yeah, I gotta get my shit together.
Yeah.
And now I'm 38, and I'm like, damn, this fool needs to get his shit together.
Yeah. You're that guy now.
I'm that guy.
Damn, you look great for 38.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Stage and
You know what's crazy is that when we first got Miles for an event, I think it was like 2018 or something like that. We also did like an interview with him,
Yeah.
and I think he was sober.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was sober. And I was like, "Oh, you're sober." Well, I wasn't talking to him actually. It was my buddy Sean. I was just recording, and he was saying something like, "Oh yeah, like I felt like for me DJing was such a social thing, and I was like more fun when I drank, you know, and people kind of expect that out of me." So I was like, "Okay, so you don't want to drink tonight?" He's like, "No, I'm not drinking." I'm like, "Okay, cool. I respect that, you know." And funny enough, I went to Seattle like 2 months ago, right? When we went to Seattle.
Yeah.
I went to Seattle, and I was like looking up at this. We were at this venue called View, and I was looking up.
Oh,
and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was like, that looks like Miles, but he's like really drunk. I'm like, that can't be. He doesn't drink. So I was like, that can't be Miles, right? And then I talked to my Feel Good guys. I'm like, yo, I'm here, and there's this guy who looks like Miles, but he's on top of the stage, which is like really high up. And then my buddy Sean, who interviewed Miles, he's like, Pilo has like a tour out there, and he's like Pilo's DJ.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the fuck? Imagine if that's Miles. You know, and I found it was. So I didn't know he like, you know, started drinking again.
You know what? Not just him, but a lot of DJs now will pick and choose which days they choose to drink, whether it's a gig or not. And sometimes I'm like that too. There'll be some nights I walk into Hickeys and I'm like, you know what? I'm really not drinking tonight. And that's something I would say you learn like as you get older is how to be more
Intentional?
no, not intentional. Responsible. Yeah, responsible. But you know, strict on yourself. Like you got to be hard on yourself. Like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Do you think there's a prevalent problem in DJing with alcohol and drug abuse?
Absolutely. I see that shit all the time. I've seen a lot of DJs literally lose residencies over that shit. It happens. And you know what's the really fucked up part is when I see these DJs lose out because of their alcohol or drug abuse, there's no one there to pick them back up. And I've seen that, and it's very unfortunate. And that's why I'm glad there's a lot of like elders and OGs and, you know, whatever you want to call them, that are speaking up about like, hey, you know what, I'm going sober. Like, I am no longer drinking while I DJ. A lot of them switched over to microdosing, which I heard is
Microdosing like shrooms?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
yeah. There are a few DJs that I know that microdose, and that's all they do.
That's interesting.
And they're fucking amazing when they play.
Really?
Yeah. It's very unfortunate to see that. Like, and some of them were my peers, and I tried to help. But it's just tough because when you go down a dark path, the only person who can really get you out of it is
you.
Yeah, yourself.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you think that has anything to do with the fact that usually when they're abusing it, it's not like a one-time thing, that's like a constant thing that's happening every single event? Because when I notice that happen to the people around me, it usually when they have no one to pick them up is because everyone's already tried. And they're like, fuck, dude, I'm over it. You know
Yeah,
what I
just
mean?
let them go.
Yeah, it's not on me, you know what I mean? Like, I tried to help them out, I tried to talk to them through it, but at the very end, it's like, if you're not going to choose to change, especially when, because when you're going through that, you're kind of more like, nah, I know what I'm fucking doing, even
Yeah.
though you really don't.
Yeah, you're oblivious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're fucked up most of the time. How
Yeah.
would you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm just like thinking of all the homies
Yeah.
I've seen do that. It's kind of crazy because it's like, it's sad. It's like, and you know, these guys look to DJing as an escape.
Mm.
And when in reality, they're actually going to hell. And I've always said this to someone that's very important to me. Obviously, we all know some people who just like take drinking to the fucking max, right? And then they have those. Is it one of you guys? But there's also those people who are the enablers. Like, yeah, keep drinking. Don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. Yeah. What I always say to somebody, I was like, why do you keep? I always ask them, like, why do you keep going down this road? Why are you allowing this person to take you down this road? I was like, if someone is gonna take you to hell, they better bring you back. But most of the time, at the end of the night, what do you see? That person who's fucked up, usually by themselves, going home alone, getting in an Uber by themselves, waking up the next morning like by themselves, like, what the fuck happened? So like, I know people like that are turning their shit around, but I also know enablers. And when I see them at the event, this is gonna sound really fucked up, but I'm gonna be like I'll see them like, oh, hey, what's up? But no, not that. But here's the fucked up part. But when I see them, I'm like, cha-ching.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's the business side of me talking.
No, it's true.
Yeah. Like, can I ask you, like, yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen that or experienced that.
We have friends like that.
Yeah, it
100%.
sucks. Like, so how do you talk to this person?
Which one, the enablers or
The enablers, because I think they're worse than the person that's on the receiving end of drinking, because they're oblivious on how they're acting, how they're portraying themselves to others.
Yeah, I think you actually mentioned that in the recent episode where you're like, it's tough for the people who do want to quit, and then you have the friends that are like, oh, why? Come on, let's just go have fun, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of dressed up in that kind of way, but I guess even the enablers don't even know they're being enablers, you know, because they're wanting to look for like a good time with everybody, but they don't realize what they're actually probably doing.
Yeah. I mean, for me, especially my group of friends and the people that I know now, we're just, again, you know, a lot older. So where like the enablers really don't affect us as much, you know, and you know, in some ways they'll probably have less fun because not everyone's like in the round, you know, but everyone for the most part has respect for people when they choose not to drink as much. It used to not be like that because it used to be like, yeah, what fucking bitch or whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking pussy. Like, why don't you sing those shot?
No, low-key still do that, but it's more like it's funny because we're just jabbing.
Yeah, you're just
we're
joking
doing
around.
jazz.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause it's not, but it's not. It's definitely not hard. I went recently on a 7-day water fast where I didn't eat or drink anything, you know. But another one of these motherfuckers. I swear. But you know, I went out. I decided to make it as hard as I possibly can. So I went out like as if I did drink, right? Except I was the DD. So I would go out with all these people and they would drink. They'd be like, hey, you fucking bitch, why don't you drink and shit like that? And I would just be like, dude, I'm on a 7-day water fast. And then they would once in a while be like, hey, you want a beer or you want a shot? And I'm like, nah.
Do you think it's kind of like old and like kind of stupid to have to explain yourself like why you're not drinking to people?
I mean, I get it because there's
Like if I were like, oh, take the shot, and you're like, nah, I can't drink because I'm on a 7-day fast.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you feel like, I'm glad I have a lot of group of friends nowadays where if I say like, no, I'm not drinking, they're like, oh, okay, cool.
You don't need an
Yeah, yeah.
excuse.
You don't
or-
need an excuse.
Yeah.
But then, like, I feel like I still see some people are like, well, why are you drinking? Like, well, fuck, I'm on antibiotics. Oh, you're lame. Oh, why you out? It's like, why don't you just shut the fuck up and mind your own business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those people definitely need to grow up more than anything.
Yeah.
You know, there's this other podcast I listen to, and he brings up a lot because he was also in nightlife, and then he went sober for like 1,000 days or something like that.
Whoa.
But one of the things he said was alcohol is like one of the only drugs where if you say you don't do it, people ask you what's wrong. You know, I mean, I don't think that's
Why aren't you
necessarily
doing
true
meth anymore?
Yeah, I don't think that's Well, I think
Lotion was getting expensive.
well, for me, I believe it just depends on your circle, right? If you're going out, you're probably gonna be surrounded by people who drink. Same thing. If you're like a meth head, you're surrounded by meth heads, and you don't do it one day, they'll probably be like, "Hey, what's wrong, bro? You want any of this?" It just depends. Again, your circle is what's gonna determine if it's weird that you do or don't do something, right?
Well, it's even harder for the people who maybe built a reputation like, oh, this guy drinks, you know?
Yeah.
And then when that person's like, nah, it's like flabbergasting to some people because they're like, well, your excuse better be better than my image of what I know of you, you know?
Yeah.
Because then they're like, no, I know you drink. Because now you have to prove to them that you're really not trying to drink.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, I can see why it's easier for these people to just be like, all right, fuck it, I will, you know? So it takes you proving to them, just like the fast, you did it,
Yeah.
you know? But I think even before that, you were able to just say no and people wouldn't really press you too much.
Yeah. Also, you know, maybe I'm more of like an outlier because I am the guy who like drinks all the fucking time. You know, I'm the guy who drinks more often than anyone close to me. You know.
He did a 7-day water fast and then a 4-day drinking fast.
Oh no, it was more like a straight 7 days, 2 weeks or something like that. But you know, like this is gonna sound kind of weird, but you know, I'm 36 now.
Again. Another I got hit like a drive-by right there.
He's only hitting the sober one?
Yeah, that's weird.
He can smell the alcohol.
It's like, fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, Julz.
I heard you don't drink.
But yeah, so like for me, I have that reputation of like I could just drink for like months on end, stuff like that. But
But
I
you-
started
I'm sorry.
noticing that my friends around me who are even younger than me like slow down. Like they're like, oh, dude, I got like a hangover. I have to take 3 or 4 days to recover. So they're very unlikely to drink as often as I am. So when I say something, they have nothing that they can say back to me because I'm like, what do you mean? I've been drinking. Like I'm just taking a couple of days off. You haven't drinking like 2 weeks.
Well, here's
So
the thing
it's-
too, is you've done other things such as like 75 hard, so you've proven that you have times where you didn't drink, and so people are like, when they hear you say I'm not drinking, they're like,
Yeah.
okay, he's probably doing something, which is kind of to the point of if they haven't seen you not do the drinking, they're not going to believe you, and they're going to even try to press you about doing it.
Yeah.
So really, it does fall on the enablers and the circle that you're with, because you know, I mean, even me back then when I would try to like be like, nah, I'm not gonna drink, I'll just go out though, you know, I would get all these laughs, and then they're like pressing me like, yeah, okay, and then
You're
and
only
then-
fun when you drink.
yeah, and then you kind of feel like, oh man, I feel like I'm bringing the vibe down. And
You're not
then,
funny when you're sober.
Yeah, you're more
Get out,
outgoing.
go.
I know. I always get a lot of that. Like, man, you're boring when you're sober.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're fucking just boring in general. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you need alcohol to be fun,
That's
shit.
another thing too. I'm a lot more like when I used to drink like a lot and like party a lot. I was like super. Not to say I'm not fun. I like to think I'm still fun, but like I was a lot. My friends always say it's like, dude, you were a lot nicer when you used to drink a lot, and now you're just a fucking dick.
Oh,
Yeah.
Whoa, I haven't heard
dude,
that.
dude, like I'm a like, if someone's like just pissing me off or just like doing something stupid, I was like, dude, shut the fuck up, or like, dude, get the fuck out of my face, or like if someone's like complaining, I'm like, all right, cool, dude, you can just fucking go home. I don't care.
Do you think that comes with age too, though? Like,
Yeah, it definitely comes with
Yeah.
age because I'm older and I
What are you
get.
trying to say, Adrian?
Yeah, no, I get.
OG.
I do get.
Old OG queen.
Yeah, I do get irritated easily now.
These damn
Yeah.
kids.
God, fucking. Oh, dude. Especially when it's like when we're DJing, it's like.
Oh yeah.
So okay, I'm petty as fuck. I'm super petty. So like if they're very consistent like that,
Yeah.
and they're very rude and disrespectful and needy, like, come on, play it. So I was like, all right, I'm petty as fuck. So for example, at Hickey's a couple months ago, tall white dude, standing in the middle of the crowd. I could see him because he's tall as fuck.
Yeah.
He's holding up his phone and he's saying YG. And of course, if you're a DJ and you're playing a hip hop party, yeah, no shit you're gonna play YG.
Yeah.
Like you could do a whole fucking hours just with the YG. It'll be jumping. So I like gave him that look like, yeah, I got you. Just kept on fucking doing it. And you know most DJs, we're not gonna play that shit like, oh, let me stop this so I can play this guy's request.
Yeah.
No, fuck that. We're gonna work our way into it. And so he just kept on like, ugh. I was like, all right, this dude's getting fucking annoying. So I stopped the music. And I had,
shit.
Oh, wow.
so right before I stopped the music, I had BPT
Nice.
ready, queued up. But I stopped the music, I say the usual bullshit like, yo, Park and Rec, Hickeys and Drives, like, blah, blah, how y'all feeling? All right, cool, fuck y'all. See what I mean? I'm a dick. Yeah. But then I was like, my man right here want to hear some YG. And of course, some people were like, yeah. So I was like, hey, my man, I need you up here on stage.
Oh.
He's like, when I play this, I need you to sing every single word.
Oh, wow.
And then he's like, he got a little excited at first,
Uh-huh.
but once BPT when it goes, he knew exactly what song it was, and I was like, come up here and sing this song, and he was like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's right.
The first lyrics are.
Yeah.
What's the first lyrics?
You look it up.
You can Google it.
Damn.
Yeah, but it's like that shit. Like I will be petty as fuck, or
That's genius because he probably was
That's
like,
genius.
oh shit.
Yeah.
And then he's like, wait.
and of course the Bad Bunny request. Like,
I was gonna say, do you
Yeah.
get Bad Bunny request?
oh yeah, in the beginning, it was like, okay, yeah, of course we'll play Bad Bunny, and then after a while, it just became like, okay, this person's just trying to be funny or trying to be cool. So now, like, if we still see it, now I'm just like, I'll like stop the music. And I would just like one time I was like, will someone tell this bitch? Of course we're gonna play Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
And I was just like, don't be
That's
rude, don't be
hilarious.
disrespectful.
Right.
Like, and I hate saying the word bitch to describe a person, but it's like, dude, if you walk like it, you talk like it.
Yeah.
And you put your phone in my face like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't
It's like-
necessarily. It doesn't need to be a woman.
Yeah.
Either, you know?
There's been
Which is universal.
There's been plenty of people that have requested songs very appropriately. They're like, hey, and I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? They're like, oh, can you play so-and-so? And I'm like, all right, cool. She's like, oh, no worries if you don't have it. It's okay.
Yeah.
But then when you do play it and it's actually like a song that you fuck with, you're like, oh, yeah, I'll play it. But when you're like a total fucking dickhead,
I mean, a bitch.
Like
it's
obnoxious about
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is to me, it's like, we all have Instagram. A lot of people have TikTok. I don't. But we all see the videos, right? Of like people getting like roasted, like in public. It's like, so I was like thinking to myself, I was like, I can't believe people still have the audacity to be that bold and not think about the consequences.
Yeah. Where do you think that came from, though? Like, there must have been some DJs who probably enabled it where they're like, oh, that's fine. Yeah, you can request it. I'll play it. You know what I mean? Because for me, I never think about shit like
Yeah.
that. It doesn't come to my mind to be like,
Like where it came from, like what, like
'cause
the whole.
I'm sure someone did it.
I just
Someone
people
saw it.
requesting songs.
No, it's just people- I mean, it's just
yeah, but like,
we're in
like
a new.
this, just like, oh yeah, look at myself.
Yeah.
Play this next.
It's a new
like,
generation of how to request
Just
songs.
easy,
Yeah.
All the
Yeah,
phone
but
up.
if it doesn't happen, it doesn't
Oh.
work. Like, why do it? It's just like getting catcalled
but
in
it
the
does-
streets.
but it
You know
does
what I mean?
work.
Oh, sometimes like my
That's what
guy.
I'm saying. There's enablers, right?
Yeah, my guys though they'll rebuttal. Like, say if I'm DJing,
No.
yeah, he'll just put no, or he'll put like go away or go home. One time dude, actually recently we were playing at Syrah. Syrah is like a club in downtown. And this girl, I felt really bad about this, but she was super cool about it. So like one of our friends from the Bay was DJing. He was our guest, and she was like, she comes up because the DJ booth is like ground level, so anyone could just like walk up. And then she was like waving her phone, and I was like, "What's up?" She was like, "Can you get him? Can you get him?" And she has his phone. I was like, "Oh, do you have a request or something?" And then I take her phone, because I just assumed she was going to show him something. I dialed 911 on her phone and handed it back to her. And then she was like, oh my God, what the fuck? And then she comes back later to me. She's like, hey. And I was like, hey, what's up? She's like, you dialed 911 on my phone. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, just please don't bother the DJs.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bother him while he's working. She was like, I wasn't trying to bother him. I was trying to show him a video I got of him from another event. I was like, my bad.
Damn.
But she was cool about it. She was
Yeah.
cool. She was like, I get it. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm sorry.
Dude. So I actually had
pretty
this
funny.
thing. I remember I saw one of the craziest roasts one time. It was a long time ago too, when Crosby used to be around. So right when they closed down, this is kind of a funny story too. But I was walking down the streets, and I used to do events at Copper Door, right, the bar downstairs.
Yeah.
And I see this guy walking around. I had no idea who he was at the time. He had like big ass hair and like a beard and shit like that. And he was like, "Hey, you know where I could play? I'm supposed to play at the Crosby tonight, but they're closed." I'm like, yeah, I know this one venue I've done a gig at. You want to see if you could spin there? And at that time, they had no DJ that night. And I talked to my buddy who owns it, Alvin. And he's like, yeah, sure, I'll play. So he plays. He comes in. And he's like, oh, yeah, my name is Gas Lamp Killer.
Willow.
And I was like,
I knew you were going to say that.
yeah, I had no idea who he was at the time. This was like fucking, I don't know. Like,
He's a legend.
yeah. I mean, I know now, but that was also like 8-9 years ago where I didn't know exactly who everyone was. And then he starts playing, and this chick comes up on stage, and I was like mesmerized by his DJing because he was doing some crazy shit. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
He's an artist. He's
Yeah.
literally an artist.
100%, right? Through and through. So she goes on stage, and then she's trying to talk to him, and then he says some shit, and he gets on the mic, and he goes on his iPad, and he like changes his voice. He says, "Get the fuck off stage!" And he pressed like 10 different buttons, and like, "Get the fuck off!" And then the security guards just escorted her, and I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck just happened?" I've never seen that before. This is insane.
He's notorious for that.
Is he?
So he's from San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how he got his name.
Yeah, that's
Gas Lamp Killer. Yeah. It's a double meaning. Like so my business partner Jay was friends with him, but I remember seeing him when I used to go to DJ battles when I was I was 18, 19. I would see him do DJ battles, but he wasn't called Gas Lamp Killer. He was called Willow. But yeah, he's notorious for that.
Yeah,
It's really funny that when you said Crosby, guy with the beard, I was like, I know who he's talking
really
about.
right away. That's crazy.
Because he was really tight with the Crosby guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Or
so
still is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, formerly Crosby, right?
Totally, but the guys, yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy because for me, I had never seen anyone DJ like that because he was using like all these other things. I was like, what the hell? And obviously, when he performs, right? He's not just super technical. He is very technical, but he's always putting on like a show. If you ever see him,
He's definitely ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first time I ever heard dubstep was from him DJing at this dive bar that I used to do called Bar Dynamite. And I remember this was like more than 10 years ago. This is like when I turned 21. So again, this is how old I am. This was like in 2006. And I was like, what the fuck is this Transformer shit?
yeah,
I was like, but it sounded really heavy. You're like, oh fuck. There's a lot of stories about him that I can't tell. Yeah. But that guy's a legend. That guy's just so talented.
oh yeah, no, for sure. I saw him recently at the Do Over. I think like last month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was dope.
Yeah.
he was. I hadn't seen him in a while. I had no idea.
Actually, ask Switch if you're watching this. Switch has some stories about him.
oh
'Cause
really?
Switch was part of the battle scene.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the battles that I went to in high school when I was only 17, I was recording Switch's routines,
Oh shit.
and then right after Switch's routine, Gas Lamp Killer was doing like a b-boy set,
oh really?
Yeah.
That's
and then he went to
interesting.
go scratch, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy? This guy's great." Yeah.
Isn't that cool to see people that you kind of grew up with in a way to where they're at now?
Okay. To me, it doesn't feel real to me. So as old as I am, when I meet DJs that I've looked up to or I've heard, like watched or whatever, and then I become friends with them, to me it's not real. Like I'm like, holy shit, can't believe I'm friends with this guy now. I used to like listen to this guy on the radio, or I used to just go to the club and watch him DJ, and now we're sending memes to each other.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, seeing how things come into fruition. But I always say, like, you can do whatever you want. You just got to be a total, genuine, cool person.
Yeah.
Don't be a bitch.
Yeah, definitely don't be a bitch. Don't be that bit.
I think bitch is it's a neo pronoun now. So
Yeah.
Neo pronoun.
Yeah.
Neo pronoun now.
But I mean,
You can
that's,
identify as a bitch.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Some people do, right? I'm a bad bitch,
Yeah.
right? So.
but going back to what you asked earlier about advice,
Yeah.
number one advice is, I mean, you've heard a lot of DJs say this in other podcasts and interviews, I'm sure, is, dude, just be a good person.
Yes.
Just be a good, don't be a dick.
Oh, a lot of people come and say the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
you become successful. You get these good groups, good people in your life, just by being a good person. Like, don't be an
Yeah.
asshole.
Guaranteed you'll get a lot more work, not just DJing, a lot more work or, you know, build relationships. Yeah, if you're not a total dick.
Yeah.
And that's the moral of the podcast.
You can be a,
Don't be a bitch.
you can be a dick to your best friends.
Yeah, if you're really friends, you're gonna be a dick to them for sure, 100%. I kind of want to ask, outside all the fun stuff, the clubbing stuff, and basically DJ stuff. I noticed you mentioned a little bit about therapy.
You know, to be honest, I've never seen a therapist. My form of therapy is like, one, talking to friends, and that's like the biggest struggle I had was I had an identity crisis. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I was like, my best friends are out here raising families, great jobs, and they're like my best friends. And I'm like, dude, what am I doing? Not once have they judged me, though. Thank God. I don't think. Fuckers. But like, I had a question myself. I was like, am I really going to be doing this shit? Like, when I'm 40, 50, because when I was in my 20s and I would see like 40-year-old promoters, I'm like, damn, this motherfucker's still doing this shit. Like, that better not be me. I'm 38. I'm like, well, time is ticking. But anyways, like, I had like an identity crisis. I was like, dude, what am I supposed to be doing? What is my purpose? How can I make my life easier but fulfill happiness? So I was like trying all kinds of shit. I was like, let me try this. Oh, that didn't work. Let me try this business. Oh, that didn't work. And it was fucking me up mentally. But I never really told anyone. I only told like specific like friends that I can, talk to. Mostly friends that like would relate in the industries that I'm in. Like, I had my nightlife friends, and then I had like my business-minded friends. Even though nightlife is a business, some people don't treat it like a business. They just think it's a one part. But as far as like therapy, like that, I would talk to one of my best friends, and and he used to go to all the parties that I would do. So like, he understood, he saw what I was going through, and it affected a previous relationship I had, and because the person I was dating at the time, she's like, I don't want it. Why are you going out? Why are you DJing? You're not even making good money. Shit like that.
Yeah.
So that's what like fucked me up. I was like, damn, I can't be doing this. Ooh. Yeah. But as I got older, into my 30s, and I started learning bits and pieces from other friends, other business owners, other mentors, and COVID, I was like, I know my shit now. I'm a little bit wiser, and I started boxing, actually, not actual fighting, but one of my other best friends, he's a boxing trainer. So I asked him, I was like, not only to get in shape, but also he explained to me, he's like, dude, boxing is just like life. You're gonna get hit, you're gonna get knocked down, but what's your goal? You got to get back up and keep fighting. So he would teach me like boxing drills, and now just moved into another house. So first thing I bought after setting up my turntables and my shoes, I bought a punching bag.
Nice.
I set up in the garage, and because I try to do at least 2 to 3 times a week, but that's honestly one of the best therapy sessions for me, because I'm by myself, I'm in the garage, and I'm just hitting this bag. Sometimes I go light, sometimes like if something's bothering me, which fortunately nothing really major has really like fucked me up lately, but it's still a good way, form of therapy for me is to release that mental stress.
It's like
Yeah.
a mini rage room.
Yeah, in a sense.
It's so funny because that's one of the things I was going to ask you when you said that you're very Filipino, and it was like, you know, he can sing, he
very
can
Filipino.
dance. He was going to be a nurse. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
boom,
do you
box.
box? Like Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah. I'm not great at it. Like, again, I'm still like learning a few things, like, but like the fundamentals of it, like I can do. Definitely not to fight, but it is also a great way to. What do we like to say? In case shit happens,
Yeah.
you're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's funny, because like, not funny, but of course we all see these videos on Instagram of people fighting at the club or even in person. And I remember one time at Hickey's, this fight broke out, and I was like watching, and I was like, that guy's terrible form. I was like, that guy.
judging him?
I was like watching. I was like, oh, that dude's leaving his chin wide open. I
He's
was
not
like,
driving through his legs.
He's not. Oh yeah. I was like, oh, he's not turning his hips. He's not putting his weight
His
forward.
footwork's trash.
I was like, oh man. I was like, this fool's gonna get knocked out.
Yeah.
And he did.
Oh, I was waiting for that.
Yeah, because all of his weight was sitting back.
It's actually kind of crazy because now during this generation, it's probably the worst choice to start a fight with a random person because so many fucking people train now and you have no idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like back then where you start a street fight and both of you guys have no idea what the
Yeah,
fuck
you
you're
like
doing.
size him up, or like
Yeah. You're just like, oh, this guy's around my size. Like,
Yeah.
if I take him or he's smaller than me. But now it's like, dude.
everyone
anyone-
does jujitsu.
Yeah.
I saw
everyone
a
does
video of
jujitsu,
that two
Muay Thai.
dudes started fighting like outside on the street, like in the middle of cars and stuff. But they both are trained,
Oh.
and
Yeah,
at the end they're
that's
just gonna like
wild.
dap each other up, like all right, you know,
Wow.
you-
Hey man, hey, good gi, man.
See, that's wild.
But yeah, going back to your question, that's my therapy now, and you know, I told my girlfriend this. It's like, hey, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be in the garage, like, and she knows, like, oh, just gonna work out by herself. One, it is a workout, but two, it's like, I'm gonna do this alone. I need to, you know, get some 1-2s in and release some stress.
Yeah. It's good for you mentally, too.
Yeah,
not just
plus-
physically.
It's your me time.
Yeah, because another thing too, like a couple years ago, after COVID, actually no, not even. Fuck no, that was last year. Weddings, hickeys and dry humps, blends. I was putting too much on myself.
Yeah.
I contemplated quitting blends. Shit, I can't believe I said that. No, but like in all seriousness, like I was like, fuck, one has to give.
Yeah.
Because mentally, I can't balance and physically balance 3 jobs and a healthy relationship. One of you's got to go. But the lesson I learned during COVID was, even though we weren't DJing, I was like mentally like okay with, like, if the world goes back and DJing does not come back, I am okay with that. I had to learn that. But then when it came back, I was like, okay, now I need to learn how to juggle all of this. That's why I'm such a dick to my friends. Julz, can I play this game? Man, dude, fuck. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. If you guys hear this shit, just know I love you guys, but y'all drive me fucking crazy.
It don't mean like that, though. You know how you said that it really fucked you up when your previous relationship was like, are you really going to be going out? Are you really going to be doing this shit? Like, I know that you said you talked to your friends about it and you learned, and boxing kind of helped you kind of like keep your mind away from it. But what was the main thing that helped you kind of get over those words? You know what I mean? Because for me, I've dealt similar shit, right? You know, you go into nightlife. I talk about it with Don all the time. I'm always like, I don't want to be like that for you, a promoter. So our pivot is like, we kind of want to focus more on like events and making it experience based and like making it the best that it can. It's not like we're just going to the club, you know?
That's exactly it. It is all about experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, Park and Rec, where we have Hickeys and Drives. Yeah, that's our residency. That's a business for me, but it's a platform for the DJs to show their craft, show their passion. So to me, that's an experience. It's like, okay, I'm going to make sure I have a platform, or we have a platform for everyone to share their joy, their happiness, their let all problems go away. It's like everyone's there. That's like exactly experience, events, Sunday brunch that we do with Miles.
Yeah.
That started off right after Twitch. Like, it's crazy how that event started and what it is now.
Yeah.
But that's exactly it. It's like, it's all about the experience. It's not just a club. And so I had to learn how to navigate, like if I'm not the DJ factor, I was like, where do I fit in? What's my role? What's going to make me happy? And what's going to make my team happy? Because if my team's not happy, I'm not happy. Because I don't want 10 pissed off DJs, especially 10 DJs that are all parents, so they're already stressed at home.
Yeah.
So, we work together. Like, we create a team. We create a family. We treat each other like a family. And that's therapy, too.
Yeah.
A group chat is like one of the best therapies. I know it seems kind of weird, but it's like if you're in a group chat with like your best friends or whoever that you feel comfortable and you can talk the way you want to talk, no holding back, that's good therapy.
It's funny that what you're saying, it doesn't sound like you changed too much. It sounded more like your perception or your perspective changed because you've had the platform. It was a place for DJs to play and show off their craft. It's always been that. The only thing that's different now is like, what fulfills me and what's my purpose in this? Because I don't DJ, right? I just put everything together. And to me, my goal is to get these guys out to do what they want to do. Like Jude, you met Jude. One thing he's always told me is like, I really want to DJ at the Do-Over. And I'm like, let's get to that point, you know what I mean? But let's keep on putting shit out, and let's keep on sharpening up your skills and put yourself out more, and you'll get there. And, like now you could present your craft to like a crowd. And to me, like being able to put that together or work with them to do that, that's fulfilling to me. It's not just like I'm just going to go here and like listen to play music and get drunk or some shit like that. Sometimes it looks like that. But you know what I mean? Like it's just a perspective shift than anything. I'm not doing anything different.
Yeah, when you say it like that, I just pivoted. Yeah, I saw it through a different lens. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's bingo.
Dope. Yeah, because when I hear you talk about it, I feel like I can relate, even though I don't DJ.
Yeah, and I love socializing. Mm-hmm. Like my girlfriend always says this. She's like, "You're a social butterfly," but what I said earlier, that ties back to the customer service.
Yes.
Times that blends. It's like I deal with shitty customers, and I learn how to navigate through shitty customers. And then there's really great customers that become your friends. Mm-hmm. So it's like you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Especially here in Costa Mesa. Get all the fucking Karens.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, Mike, he's a customer.
Yeah. Number one Karen.
Dude. Yeah, dude, I remember when I first started at Costa Mesa, and I was like, oh, man, these people here are fucking different.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, especially Costa Mesa. It's like there's that sense of entitlement for these customers. I mean, you still get that nowadays, not just my store, just everywhere. But coming from San Diego to Costa Mesa, I was like, whoa, this is a culture shock. Also, that's another word of advice. Move. You should live. You can. Home will always be home.
Yeah.
But if you have the chance to move to a different city, go for it.
Yeah.
Experience it. See different people.
Yeah.
It's just like DJs. I'm like, if you have the opportunity to DJ in other cities, go for it. But don't be fucking asking and flossing like, oh, they booked me. No, motherfucker, you asked to play. That's what I hate nowadays. Oh, all right, can I talk some shit real quick?
Yeah. Let's go into let's talk some shit.
Let me talk some shit. I'm not gonna say. Okay, this is what I'm saying. I get it. DJing in another city, it's fucking great. It's amazing. You're like, oh, I'm playing in another city. Yeah, it's cool. But it's like, that whole saying like, oh, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. But there's one way you can go about things, and it's like what we were just saying, like, yeah, don't be a dick. But it's like, if you're going to ask for a gig, cool, there's nothing wrong with asking for a gig. One, you have to be grateful and respectful, like, oh, thank you, for giving me this opportunity. But the moment you go out there like, yeah, I got booked in such and such city, I'm doing this party here, but like, come check me out. It's like, all right, pump the fucking brakes. Chill the fuck out. Like, you have to show some sort of, you got to be humble.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like, I fucking hate that shit. I see that shit all the time on the internet, especially because, like, the DJ community, it's a small community.
Yeah.
We fucking know everything. DJs are probably the most gossip bitches in the fucking world.
Really?
Yeah, fucking DJs love. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, we all gossip. Like, oh damn, did you hear such and such is DJing there? I try not to pay too much attention, but it's like I'll be in the chats. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, the only thing I hear now is like, with all the Twitch DJs, and I'm not gonna say any names either, but being around a bunch of DJs all the time, they'll always be like, man, she only got that gig because she's fucking cute or whatever. She's only popping off because she's like, and a lot of it is women DJs, you know what I mean? Where it is like looks is more of a factor than like being a guy typically, right? And to me, I don't see it like that because especially if they actually are working really hard at their craft, because I do have some friends who are out there DJing on Twitch or even regular venues, and I've known them prior to the pandemic where they were actually DJing at venues and working on their shit. But Twitch really in the pandemic has really boosted their career, you know what I mean? Because everyone was fucking online, no one was going anywhere.
Yeah,
and like they're just watching like this pretty girl like DJ,
I look at it from two perspectives. I look at it from a DJ perspective, and I'm like, damn, this person got a gig. Like, oh, that's whack. But then I look at it from a business, because now that I work closely with business or venue owners and managers, I look at it from this perspective. Like, well, this person can actually bring a lot of people, like, and bring money to the table, But also my rebuttal, like when people say like, yeah, because I've had homies like, damn, such and such got this gig only because they're hella popping on the internet, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, or whatever. And I'm like, why? And I was like, asking like, well, why the fuck you mad? That person's just figured out how to get in there.
Yeah.
I was like, you just fucking sat there and let it happen.
So will we ever see you DJing on Twitch without your shirt?
I did once in 2020, but you'll never see me DJ on Twitch anymore because I have zero patience. I give credit to all my friends who are still on it now and still making money, but I honestly do not have the patience. But also mainly because when I'm home, I just want to be home. Like,
You want to be working?
Yeah, I don't want to be working. I just like to relax, hang out with my dog, my girl, watch fucking Ant-Man or Black Panther or, Avengers Endgame for the 100th time. I'm a nerd. I love Star Wars. Yeah, I love all that shit.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Because to me, I think at least when I'm booking someone, it's always like, all right, one, are they good, right? Two, it's always like, can they bring a crowd? It does play a factor into it because you're not like you're paying them X amount of money. You're hoping to get a return as a business person.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you hate when you see comments like, "Oh, that person's only been DJing for like a year or something"?
Yeah, especially now because I know the DJ community is still small, but it's definitely growing a lot faster than it did before. You have all these schools, you have like how many DJs out here, you got beat junkies, you have all these other people just picking shit up through the internet, you know what I mean? So it's like you're gonna have new people come out, and there are gonna be like prodigies, sometimes just people who are popular because they understand the internet and how to work it, right? But I think it's always been like that, and this is what I always tell my friends who DJ, and they're like real DJ heads where they don't really fuck with the internet too much. I'm like, do you think these gigs are just gonna appear in front of you? No one knows that you're a DJ.
Exactly.
You post shit.
Like what we said earlier. Yeah, you're the best DJ, but no one knows who the fuck you are.
Yeah. But it's always been like that, though. It's like now it's the internet. Back then, it used to be like if
word of
you're
mouth.
An artist, word of mouth. Right? You play at a venue with fucking no one, or if you're like a musician, you go out in Venice and you give them a fucking CD, right? Or you have them listen to your shit on your fucking like MP3 player, where the fuck, right? You're always supposed to put yourself out there. Now it's easier than ever to put yourself out there, and you're not willing to fucking click play and do it. I don't really get too mad that you don't get the gigs, because I'm like, dude, you're not really putting yourself out there.
Spot on. But we are also on this day and age, like anyone can make themselves look bigger than anyone can fabricate an image, or not even fabricate. It's like I know someone, a DJ from the Bay. This person just hustled, creates content, creates artwork, just kept on going out every fucking day on the weekdays. No job, just hustling. She was like, okay, Twitch is over. what's next? What's the next move? And I've talked to her before, and I was, because she asked me about like mobile gigs, like wedding DJing.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, you do weddings too? I was like, yeah. And she wanted to get more into wedding DJing and mobile gigs. And I was like, hey, you know, you just have to create a brand for yourself. I was like, people have already seen you DJ. That's cool. But now can you create a brand for yourself? And also, can you speak for yourself? And I think that's one thing a lot of DJs don't acknowledge is like, yeah, can you speak for yourself?
Ooh.
Like, yeah, a lot of DJs have managers, and that's what they're for.
Yeah.
But also, some of these DJs don't have time to be answering emails. They're perfecting their craft.
Yeah, or they're really bad at answering their emails.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's
Like a lot of DJs I work with, I'm like, bro, you're just like 100% a creative. Like you're like, oh, how should I negotiate this deal? You know, I'm like, I don't know. How much do you want to fucking get paid, right? How much do you think you're worth? How much have you gotten paid before? Who have you worked for before? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, figure out how to, you know, make your own pay. But a lot of them, they don't know. They're just like, oh, you know, usually they throw something out and they just take it.
I love reading comments from motherfuckers who are like, I would never leave my house for less than 300. Well, I guess you staying home, motherfucker, like, because no one wants to book you.
Yeah.
Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah. No, it's true though, because do you feel like that's also a sense of I feel like this happens to all creatives, but like an entitlement where you're like, no, I think I deserve this much, but I'm like, damn, but you're not getting booked though. You know what I mean? There must be something.
I'm like 50-50. Like, I support it and I don't support it. I support it because, yes, you are a creative.
Yeah.
If you're really creative and you're on your shit and you're like, oh, you got some going, yes, you have value. You've created value. Now, how are you going to make your value known to people? So, yeah, when some people are like saying like, oh, I won't leave my house for X amount of dollars, like blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah. Well, I guess you're not getting booked. That's like how do I explain? That's like fucking In-N-Out making dozens of cheeseburgers but not selling it to their customers. It's like, what a fucking waste. That burger is delicious. You're not gonna sell it to anyone?
Kind of hungry now.
Yeah, see. But yeah, it's like you got. I think people just don't look at the reality of things.
Yeah.
When I started DJing or getting into DJing in the late '90s, I had to ask a lot of questions. Like my homie's older brother and like his crew, like, oh, how do you guys make money? Like, do you guys just like tell people like, oh, this is how much you have to pay us? You know, shit like that. And I think this day and age with the internet, people just look up whatever they can, but it's also like a interpretation. Like, oh my God, Julz is getting X amount of dollars when he DJs. I can get that too because I'm better or I'm just as good. It's like, whoa, slow down. That's not what it is. Like, there's a lot of I think research is one of the things that's overlooked for these DJs. You know, they're creating their image on social media. Yeah, that's fine. That's one part. But the reality, going back to the reality of things, not just DJing, just any kind of craft or any showman or whatever, you got to put a lot more work in other avenues than just your skill. Like, let's just be honest. If you're a working DJ, which that is like a term like thrown around very loosely, but it's true. It's like you're literally a working DJ. You got to fucking hustle you got to work your ass off. You're not fucking A-Track. Like, look at the reality of things. Like, you have to work just as hard as the guy that's next to you, or work harder.
Yeah, and you gotta wear many hats too.
Yeah,
I think that's the main thing. It's like there is so much more to do now that you could do. You know, like marketing yourself is like a completely different ball game now. Working on your craft, putting out your own content, you know, networking, meeting up people, and going to venues, going to different like events, and like actually talking to people, and like seeing if like there's anything that might pop up. Like, hey, if you guys ever have like a slot open or whatever, it's like that's not that hard to ask. But I feel like people expect it to come to them.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Can I tell some story?
Yeah, run it.
I'm not gonna say who, but we've gotten DMs in our hickeys, and you know, we get DJs hitting us up like, hey, I'm big fan. You know, I would love to come and rock a set. And, you know, I'll reply. I'm like, oh, cool. I was like, hey, why don't you come down? I was like, let's meet. I was like, I'll grab you a drink. most of the time those people leave me on red, don't show up.
Wow.
So I'm just like, all right, cool, whatever. No big deal to me. But we do get some people who actually come. I will say one right now, one of our friends, he cold DM'd us and he was like, hey, I would like to DJ for Hickey sometime. I was like, hey, why don't you come through? I was like, let's meet. He was the first person there.
Oh, wow.
The next event, he came and he hung out. We, got him a drink, talked to him a little bit. And then after a few weeks, I was like, you know what? Let me hit this guy up. Because he would show up every week and just hang out. Never ask for a drink. Never ask for anything. And I was like, hey, do you want to open sometime for Hickey's? He's like, yeah, I'd love to. He did his thing. He opened up, and then I gave him little pointers. I was like, hey, maybe you should get better quality MP3s, or it's like, since you're starting out, get some, MP3s with 8-bar intros, whatever, to help you like mix, whatever. Fast forward a year or so, I get him a job at Park and Rec as a security guard.
Oh.
And now he's a security manager.
Oh, that's crazy.
And he still can DJ. He's done other gigs for other people. He's DJ'd, with us here and there. But he's like family to us now. Like,
That's dope.
And
Again?
Dude, we got to compile like all these and put together.
Shit. How do they just keep going for you?
I know, it's weird. It's only just.
but yeah, and then we'll get like other DJs like I'll invite. And then again, they just don't respond or they leave me on red. And I'm like, okay. And then we get some DJs that like send an EPK through DMs. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I was like, why don't you come by? And this one guy from LA, forgot his name. I don't think anyone knows him too, by the way, because I checked. I was like, if anyone follows him, any mutuals, none of that. And I was like, hey, why don't you come down? The usual spiel, like, let's talk, get to know each other. And he was like, oh, what's the rate? And I was like, I was just inviting you. I was like, you should come out. And he was like, nah, bro. He's like, I'm not going to leave my house. He was like, if you got an open slot for me, I'm down to play. And then so I was like talking to the other Hickey's guys. I was like, dude, I kind of want to invite and say yes to some of these people because, like, say they come. Like, say you cold DM me. Like, hey, Julz, I love to DJ for Hickey's. I feel like I can kill it. I'm like, okay, cool. And I will ask, like, oh, have you ever been to a Hickey's event? Because most of the time they've never been. They just see it. So I always like tell the Hickey's guy, I was like, dude, I always ask, I'm like, dude, should we just be a total fucking dick? And then this guy's like, man, those guys are dicks. I'm never going there.
Just invite them just to have an extra person.
That's like me being petty, but then I've never done that. No, I've never done. But I always like thought, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny? Because like I always say, I was like, dude, wouldn't you like obviously like you messaged me and then we were talking on the side leading up to today, so it's like, okay, get to know a little bit of each other, plus we have a lot of mutual friends. But like, what if I was a total like psycho? Yeah, dude, it's like, that's what I was saying. It's like, that's what's crazy about the internet. It's like, fuck you guys, I give people props for like cold DMs and messages, but it's like, dude, like, what if everyone was a total fucking psycho?
No, there's one thing I actually want to talk about. It's kind of funny too. Maybe it's kind of me being petty, but I'll put it out there because I think it's also a piece of advice too. But
damn, did you DM me and I denied you?
No. But,
Just kidding.
But I'm on the Feel Good like Instagram and also run the podcast Instagram too. Very similar things where people would either ask to spin at an event or come onto the podcast, right? And one of the first things I'm put out there, like, if you don't follow the account already, I'm not gonna fucking respond to you. If you're asking to come spin, you don't follow us. If you're asking to come on the podcast, you don't follow us, I am not gonna fucking respond. To me, that's the bare minimum they could do.
Exactly.
It's like, you don't even know what the fuck we're about. I've seen people who they just ask like, oh, I just want to tell my story, and I'm like, and they tell me kind of what their story's about. I'm like, dude, it has nothing to do with the fuck we're talking about.
And you go snooze fast.
Yeah, you just want to, you want any podcast, right? You want any event. For us, it's like we want people who like click with us. That's really what it's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the very end. And if you don't even follow us, you have no idea what the fuck we're about, right? And usually it starts like, oh, to whom this may concern. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, do you not know who you're talking to?
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Know your audience.
But yeah, make sure you follow the account if you're gonna reach out to be on a fucking podcast, to spin for a fucking event, anything.
You should invite those people, and then they think like, oh, I get to tell my story, and then you do lightning round, but then you're just like ask the hard questions like, hey, what's your waist size? What?
And that is a great transition to lightning round. Here we go, guys. Hey guys, welcome to lightning round, where we ask our guests some rapid fire questions. Jules, are you ready?
Unfortunately, yes.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Where's the weirdest place you jerked it? You said you wanted the intrusive questions.
Oh, I guess. Anything when I was younger, when I was like, I'll just say this. It wasn't my house.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yo, that was actually caught him off guard pretty
Well,
good.
that did, especially. Yeah, let's go.
On the way here.
If someone was to request a song with their phone, what song would you instantly say yes to?
Tevin Campbell, Can We Talk?
Oh, nice.
But then again, okay, hold on. Everyone fucking plays that nowadays. You know, that is one of the biggest songs in the club right now. Okay, so let me give another one. If someone asked for Mark Morrison, Return the Mac. That is one of my favorite songs of all time.
If you could have dinner with one person in the world, dead or alive, who would it be?
Prince.
And my final question for you is, what's one thing that you're looking forward to accomplishing this year?
Take over San Diego.
Nice.
Damn.
Yeah. All right. So, what is something that you used to believe in but don't believe in anymore?
Something I used to believe in and I don't believe in anymore. Okay, this is going to sound kind of weird. In some perspective, in some aspects, in some, depending on the situation, I don't believe in being humble sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And
That's fair.
the reason, can I say why?
Yeah.
The reason why I, especially now, and depending on the situation and whatever position you're in, the reason why I don't believe in being humble is you get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
When some people are like, oh, he's really humble, like he's really dope, but like he like, you know, it's like, oh, we don't have to pay him that much, or you know what, no, we don't need to book him, or you know, we don't need him, we'll go to someone else that's willing to give up, you know, whatever. So I feel like at some point in your life or whatever, you have to stand up for yourself. And you have to, when you know you're the shit, you have to look in the mirror and go, nah, fuck that shit. I will destroy all these people.
Damn.
Yeah.
That escalated real quick.
And that's a boxing mentality that I have. It's like, yeah, a lot of boxers can be humbling, but it's like when Mayweather steps in the ring, that record shows.
Okay. What is on your bucket list?
My bucket list: travel the world with my girlfriend.
Any place like in particular you want to go first?
Well, I wanted to go to Japan because I've never been to
Yes.
Japan. She's been to Japan,
Oh, nice. Okay.
and a lot of my friends have gone to Japan recently. But she really loves Japan, so you know, I love Japanese culture. Like, I work for a Japanese family at Blends. It's Japanese owned. So Japan's like definitely on my bucket list, but traveling the world with my girlfriend is definitely on my bucket list. Because my parents, my dad's in his late 70s, my mom's in her early 70s. All they do is travel the world.
That retired life.
Nice.
And I asked my dad once, because I remember like when I was still living at home, get a random knock on my door at 4 a.m. My dad's like, "Hey, wake up. Can you take us to the airport?" And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, now? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, where are you going? He's like, your mommy and I were going to Europe. And I'm like, you weren't going to tell me? And then I remember like asking him later when they come back, and then they go on another trip. And I'm like, why do you go on so many trips? And my dad, this is something that will stick with me forever, and very grateful of my parents. My dad said, your mom and I have worked for so many years to provide for you. You got me and my brothers. You guys are good. So we are enjoying our lives. We are traveling the world. You guys are fine. We have the money, or they can afford to travel. So my dad always says, he's like, this is my money that I worked for. I'm going to spend it the way I want to spend it. And that's not being like a dickhead or anything, but it's like, it's true. It's like, you know, you worked hard for it. He provided for my family. So now my parents are like, fuck you. We're going to travel the world. Take us to the airport.
Pick us up.
Hey, that's fair.
Yeah. So yeah, travel the world. That's my bucket list.
Okay. Damn, my parents are like, damn, Santa Ana, that's too far.
Stay at home.
I know, like my mom still trips like, Julian, why do you always wouldn't you have to go to LA? I was like, Mom, it's Orange County, not LA. So now like my mom will ask like, do you have to work in LA this week? I'll just say yes.
Yeah, you don't want to change.
Yeah, because if I say Costa Mesa, she's like, what? Even though she clearly knows where that is, but it's just easier to say LA.
What is an important life lesson that you've learned?
I mean, kind of going off of my dad, talking about my dad. But important life lesson that I learned is money comes and goes. As much money we've all made over the years, money definitely does not buy happiness. But of course, stupid people are going to say like, well, it buys you nice things. Like, well, you're a fucking idiot. Yeah. Money comes and goes. That's my lesson. Like, you can always bounce back. That's why when you see unfortunate things happen to people who lose everything, it's not the end of the world. It is just your perspective. Like, okay, how do I bounce back? How do I get back on my feet? How do I live comfortable? So money is just, it comes, it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more like feeling that sense of that failure where you feel like you've lost everything. That's the real lesson there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Then you're like,
You got to hit rock bottom. Everyone has to hit rock bottom. Because if you don't hit rock bottom at one point in your life, you don't know shit. Yeah. Yeah. Your eyes are more wider, open as fuck when you hit rock bottom. When you lose everything, you're just like, okay, fuck.
It's only up from here.
It's only up from here, or I got to get my shit together.
So for my last question, what sport would be the most fun to add alcohol with?
Water polo.
Oh, all the lifeguards are gonna have to save everybody.
Not just because of that, but imagine all the movement in the pool, and then everyone swam in a pool before, so they got water or swallowed water. So imagine all that chlorine mixing with the alcohol.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
What the hell?
Or just like, if you're like super hammered and you're just trying to turn water, like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, because if they're trying to get somewhere, they probably lose their direction.
I played water polo before in PE, and that shit sucks.
Yeah.
That shit sucks.
That's why you want to make it bearable by drinking alcohol.
Yeah, your PE, you had water polo? Shit.
Yeah.
You even have a pool.
I kind of went to like a predominantly white school, high school. Yeah.
That explains everything.
Yeah. Yeah, we had so it's funny. Yeah, we had a pool, and when people say like, and I'll tell people like, oh yeah, I was CPR certified and scuba diving. They're like, what?
In high school?
And I was like, yeah, in high school. And they're like, you guys had scuba class? I was like, and me being a dickhead, I was like, wait, you guys did it? I thought every school had scuba as a class. I was like,
damn, the 80s were different.
yeah. 2003.
All right, cool. My turn then, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
All right, cool. I know that you said money doesn't make you, or doesn't buy you happiness. So what is your definition of success then?
My parents happy. Like I said, my parents are like cool with me, this whole DJing thing, plus my other job, because they're like, oh, you don't ask us for money, or you can pay for your own shit. And it makes my parents happy. They're like, okay. Because like every immigrant here, or household, what do you want to see? You want to see your children succeed. You provide for your children, and then when you see your children providing for themselves and now their own families, that's real success right there. That's the real fucking American dream.
All right, I noticed that you said you're talking about how old you are. What's one thing that keeps you young?
Talking about fucking sneakers with customers.
Really?
I mean, it's just like any market that anything you do, you have to keep up with times. You have to stay relevant. So it's like, yeah, I still have to do research on like, what are the hottest shoes? What are the trends? So yeah, it's like,
That makes sense.
when like I'll just happen to be at the shop sometimes, and then like, people just want to talk about sneakers, and I'm like, oh fuck. But I'm like, all right, whatever. Yeah, dude, fucking the Yeezys, man. Yeah, they're coming back. Oh yeah, dude, 550s. Yeah, like, oh yeah, that shit's everywhere. Oh yeah, dude, Asics are really popping now. It's like, yeah, I don't wear I pretty much just wear basic shit, but I guess it does keep me feeling young, because I talk to my nephews about it. They're like, Uncle Julz, do you have these? And I'm like, fuck, man. But it's fun, yeah. I would say that, and also DJing too.
Yeah.
So there's a little. I carry this little, chip on my shoulder sometimes, where I'm just like, man, fuck these kids. I know I'm better than them, and I'm like, I'm gonna show you what I can still do. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Like he can
yeah,
keep up.
yeah,
Uncle Julz.
yeah, technical skill wise, I'm not the greatest, but it's like, I will say, like, I can fucking read a room, and I can fucking get in and out of, songs really quick. That keeps me young, because when I see these young DJs, I'm like, look at you. It takes like fucking the whole song to get to your next song. Wasting this fucking time right now.
Shambles.
Don't you know you have a short attention span? Look how long it takes you. And you're using 8-bar intro. Hurry the fuck up.
Golly. Chip on his shoulder is real.
Yeah. But it's also, it keeps me competitive. It's like, all right,
Yeah,
dude.
true.
Oh, that's another thing too. I don't think we talked about earlier, is like, with the nightlife industry, about being relevant or whatever, is I keep tabs on everyone. Like, I'm very private also, like, with some things. Like, I don't like go too crazy with posting flyers. That's why you have a promotion company to do it. That's whatever. But I keep tabs on who's doing what. Mostly in San Diego, but yeah, I do keep tabs like up here, LA, the Bay, New York, whatever. But like, I just want to know who's out there. Who are the players in the game? Because it's not necessarily their competition, so to say, but it's like, I need to be aware of my surroundings.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, there's some people out there, they're like, oh yeah, they think they're hot shit. Like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, you got a couple hundred people there, but it's like, guess what? That motherfucker has 1,000.
Yeah, you guys stay dated,
Or
man.
it's like, oh, you think you're booking so and so? That's cool. But guess what? That person has this person playing. Whether
That's so very true.
whether it's a influencer DJ, whether it's a really skilled DJ, whether he's like a cool guy, whatever the fuck. But you got to know the players in the game, and I think that is one of the biggest people overlook in this industry. Is because like, I'll get like hit up like, hey, did you know this person's doing this? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, I didn't see that. I'm like, well, because you ain't paying attention, fool.
Yeah.
Now you look like an idiot.
I can see that.
Think you're gonna go toe to toe? Okay, David and Goliath.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a strong pro. Shut the fuck up. I'm such a hater.
It's all coming out.
I'm just kidding. No, but in all seriousness, like, yeah, you gotta know who's around you. Just like retail, just like Coke and Pepsi, all the shit.
Especially if it's a business, for sure.
Yeah. But, some people don't see it that way. They're like, oh, and trust me, don't get me wrong. I think in every city, every market, there's enough room for people to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of gatekeepers, though,
There are a lot of gatekeepers. But the older I got, I understand. And I kind of feel for them. I understand why some people gatekeep.
Yeah.
Because, you built something so strong that you're just not going to let anyone in. You got to make sure you bring the right people in.
Protect your energy.
Yeah, especially like if you're someone in my position who's older and like I'm getting on the tail end. It's like I have to make sure Hickey's is still strong. It has the right people, because I don't want it to go to shit.
Yeah.
I don't want my fucking DJs like doing dumb shit. Just kidding.
That's out to you guys right there.
I'm kidding, guys.
All right, cool. My last question. What do you love the most about your girlfriend?
Oh.
She loves me for me. Because just like everyone else, I have flaws. but I don't let that interfere or I don't let it like hinder our relationship. Like, yeah, I'm not perfect. I'm not fucking the most fit dude. I don't make the most money. Like, her and she probably makes, the same amount as me or maybe a little bit even more, but she loves me for me and I love her for who she is. And one thing I can tell you what she loves about me is I'm a fucking nerd. Okay, that's probably why I love her so much too, is because she accepts me for my nerdiness. Like, I will openly talk about how much I love Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, Star Trek, not so much. But yeah, it's like, it's just pure love. That's all it is. And I think, if you have that foundation, that's all you need.
Oh, amen.
Shout out to Nerds in Love.
Yeah, nerds in love. Because think about it, if you have nothing but you guys still love each other and still hold each other up and support one another, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Very pure.
It's like what that song says, all you need is love.
All you need is love.
Yeah.
And there you go.
All you need is love and a laptop with Serato, and then get back on the fucking horse and show these kids that you could still fucking do it.
All right, guys. That concludes our lightning round. I want to say thank you to our amazing guest, Tito Julz. Let us know.
Tito.
Hit him with the Tito.
You can find me on my fucking couch now after that.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, find me at Home Depot. No, okay, what is it? What's our fucking routine? Second, fourth Saturdays at Park and Rec for Hickeys and Dry Humps. That is the name of our event and company. We have Sunday brunch with Miles Medina in San Diego, September 3rd, with guests Eccentric, Bella Fiasco, and Andy Uwops from Vegas. Where else the fuck can you find me? Jacob's event, which he hasn't sent me the address yet.
Oh, it's for this month.
This month, yeah. Where is it?
It's going to be. Where did
Jacob, text me the fucking address, dude.
I was having him go through some venues, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's at Paradise Room, up at the Yost, I think.
Oh, right here?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I know
I
that.
think so. I want to check.
That's
with him on that.
August 26th. What else? Bang Bang, September 29th. I can't say who our guest is yet because I have to finalize something with the manager. Hopefully that goes through. And then you can find me at Blends. Fucking talking about shoes.
Yes.
Making me feel young and shit. Or if you're in San Diego, you can just find me at Taco Bell. No, because Humberto's isn't 24 hours anymore.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so.
After COVID?
Yeah, after COVID,
course.
they're not 24 hours anymore. It's crazy. It's like, I'm not, okay. You know how, okay, if you guys have been listening about podcasts lately, there are people who get very bold and say, like, I'm the one. I'm the first one. Not your guys' podcast. But I will say, I'm the one who got Humberto's poppin' in San Diego. I will take credit for that.
How'd you do it?
After Hickeys and Dry Humps, I would always like talk on the mic, like, all right, everyone, after party at Humberto's, because it was 24 hours. Or we would post it like on an Instagram post, like pre-party for Humberto's, but it was our club event. We posted Hickeys and Dry Humps flyer, a pre-party for Humberto's. So it's like the word Humberto's.
That's brilliant.
And then we did and then one year, I asked him, I was like, can I have one of your shirts? And I wore it as a Halloween costume.
Oh.
So and this is the night when we had Just Plays. After the event, we went to Humberto's, and I was wearing their uniform. They let me go behind in the kitchen, on the counter, and I was like greeting people.
Wow. That's dope. They must love you then if you got their business popping like that.
But now they're not 24 hours anymore, so it's kind of sad. But also, that's another thing I don't do anymore too often. I won't say never. I don't do late night eating anymore after a gig. Hardly do it.
After an event, you mean?
After
or
a
in
gig,
general?
yeah.
Okay.
Or late night gigs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's a daytime gig, I'm fucking eating. But if it's like, we get out of the club at like 2:30, I'm like, I'm just gonna go home.
Damn,
Yeah.
but that shit's like the best though.
I
Late night
know.
Munchies is like crazy.
Tell me about it. I fucking fuck, man. Don't even get me started. Like, our burritos in San Diego are like.
That was gonna be one of the questions I wanted to ask. I totally forgot it. I was gonna say.
Oh, we want to do
This
the
is
debate
very
now?
Mexican food, you know?
Oh, San Diego.
Oh,
hands down.
San
Hands
Diego's
down.
got pretty good.
Hands down. Okay, here.
Top
okay,
three, top three.
okay. I will say this right now,
All right.
because I've lived up here, so that means I would go to LA a lot too. I will say, LA has the best tacos. Best tacos, best trucks, best tacos, whatever you name it. San Diego has the best burritos / carne asada fries.
That's funny because I just saw like this YouTuber and his section's all on burritos and carne asada fries in San Diego. That was all it was. Breakfast burritos specifically.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotta get a California burrito. See, a California burrito is a
Oh wait, sorry, California burrito.
is a debate on its own within San Diego. So there's like a debate on which taco shop invented the California burrito.
Oh.
Surfers claim it was them. People from South San Diego claim it was them. I'm from South San Diego, like really close to the border. Like literally, my backyard was the border when I lived in San Ysidro.
Yeah, shouts to TJ.
Shouts out Hong Kong.
That's exactly.
That's a
what
different country though. No, like. Yo, all right, let's close this shit up.
Yeah.
All right, you know where to find them.
Yep. And I just want to say thank you for coming on,
Thank
bro.
you,
I know
guys.
got a busy schedule, and also you had to wait for a long ass time.
It's all good.
And he got to drive back to San Diego after this. This is like what, 10 already?
Get a burrito before you
Like-
go.
11. Yeah. It's all
Okay,
good.
yeah, get back by midnight.
It's all right. Canes is open still, so I'm okay.
There's a lot open still.
And thank you for sharing all the info on the kids, because fuck them kids. Just kidding. Actually, I appreciate you kids watching, the few of you there. But thank you guys for tuning in, watching all the way through. I appreciate everyone here for staying and making sure that you guys click that like, subscribe, and comment below what you guys want us to talk about next. Click that shit right now. Subscribe, motherfuckers. And remember, live fast, eat ass.